Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.
Hello and welcome to Tottenham Away, the best place to be in town on a Monday night. Smash the like, hit the subscribe, notification bell, all the good stuff. You know the protocol, everyone. Welcome, how are you? To all the miserable massive out there, boo. And to all the people that are happy and joyful, hey. I'm sure we'll get into it again. Any questions? Get your comments in. Any super chats? Get your comments in. And if you just want to talk, get your comments in. Everyone's welcome. If you do want us to specifically ask a question or discuss a topic, then super chats do take priority, just so you all know. Welcome. There's plenty to talk about, believe it or not, even though the season's over. There's lots and lots we're going to go through tonight. But before we get going, let's say hello to everyone. Iggy was there. Let me bring Iggy back. Iggy, how you doing, man? You good? You happy? You miserable? You joyful? You...
Miserable is not an adjective that I would ever engage with. So I'm never. It's rare to find me miserable, even as a Spurs fan. But no, generally I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm always good. I'm always good. How are you, man?
I'm the happiest I've ever been supporting the club, but it's not allowed. Apparently, it's banned. So I'm trying to keep it joyful, but it's I'm up against it. Mari, how you doing, brother? You all right? You good? How did your beloved talk to you about your beloved Inter Milan? We did try and tell you, but tell us about
Inter Milan.
It's Dietrich. Sorry, where's Dietrich? He's meant to be on tonight. I realised. Where's Dietrich Kane? He had an apology. He had an apology letter for him.
That fraud.
Dietrich's Stefan, isn't
he? Dietrich's had an apology letter written for Iggy tonight. He said he was going to come on with his camera on. Camera on, he said, and apologise to Iggy. Where is he?
Tonight.
For people that don't know, Dietrich puts a super chat in every single week, bigging up Inter Milan and calling out Iggy for supporting AC Milan.
Absolute.
Where's Dietrich now? Where's our weekly super chat, Dietrich? Where's our weekly super chat?
Do you know what? They were lined up to do the treble this year. They were going, we're doing the treble. You've done the treble. Oh, fuck all. That's what you've done. Treble of nothing.
Napoli. No, I'm doing good, man. Today was good. Day off, relaxed by the pool, hung out with my Colombian neighbor. Nice time with her.
Colombian neighbor, listen to this geezer, man.
Nice time with her.
The miserable life. And then I showed Stell, I got some new toys for streaming. For those who are like, I can't hear Mari.
I got those toys and microphones off the back of you telling us you've got a Colombian neighbour that you had a good time.
Colombian neighbours. Now we've got packaging boxes and
what's inside that box?
Iggy, we got a little bit of Milan aggro going on there tonight.
Exactly. Next we'll be hearing Mari's involved in import and exporting. Set up a new business.
Iggy,
what's in that cup?
Hotspur has just said AC Milan is shit. We got a little bit of Milan rivalry here tonight.
Yeah, in Milan's probably one of the worst Milan seasons. They've ended up one trophy more than Inter Milan, who are meant to be the greatest team in Europe. They were supposed to do the treble, and they landed with their all they have is their dicks in between their hands. That's it. That's what Inter Milan have ended up with.
What did your boys do?
Do you know what? I have never laughed so much in a Champions League final. It was like watching Only Fools and Horses, Carry On films, all in one. all the best comedy films, all in one. I was laughing minute after minute, goal after goal. I was only disappointed that I didn't see more goals because it should have ended up 7 or 8-0.
Yeah, it should have been.
It is by far one of the most humiliating nights in Champions League history. And Inter Milan, only Arsenal could have topped it off for me. If that had happened to them, that would have just topped it for me. But the fact it happened to the Inter Milan, for me, it was just an utter comedy show. And on Saturday night, I swear, my wife was like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "Do you know what? I've just seen 2 European matches back to back, Europa League and the Champions League night. One outcome, I was laughing with tears of happiness. This one is just pure comedy. To have witnessed 2 finals back to back, and joyous at the end of it for both different reasons. You can't top that. Like I said, only Arsenal could have topped it for me if they'd got there. But, the other ones are like, we beat Real Madrid. So that was their highlight of their season. And honestly, it's just an utter comedy. And us, 22 league defeats. Well, Europa League champions, man. I'm still riding. I'm riding that wave. Listen, we could talk about anything or whatever you want, but you ain't gonna fucking put me in a bad mood, man. After Spurs won the Europa, you're not ever gonna put me in a bad. That's why when Stel asks me how I am, I'm like, I'm fucking good, man. I'm always good. No, don't put that word up. No, it doesn't.
Do you know how many people I've rattled with that word? I've literally shaken up an entire fan base with that word. I didn't realize how powerful.
Do you know what? It's a you know what it is still? It's a weird position because like they used to the angry still, they're getting pissed off and they fucking this and that or that. And
Stop
to see
the
you
rock.
in this to see you as you are, coming back from Bilbao, like this version of Stel, I think it's a bit rattled because they're not used to seeing you like this. So everyone's in a bit of a what's going on? What's happening? Oh, happy.
They're stuck in misery. I'm telling you, they're stuck in misery, man. I mean what I say. Listen, we'll get into me in a minute. It's about Tottenham. Lubo, I'm guessing you support Paris Saint-Germain because you're busting the French look tonight with the Parisian kind of scarf look and the shirt on.
No. This is my Spurs. This is my Spurs scarf from Bilbao still.
It's the way you're wearing it. You look like a French artist.
You look like a French, you're cap away.
Le Lubo. Le Lubo.
Well, I'll take it off.
Oh, Le Lubo.
Ian.
Well, all good. The first part of Levy's Bald has departed. So let's hope she is the first of a few. So all good today. We're going to get to Donna Cullen tonight. There's quite a bit we are going to discuss tonight. Lee, how are you? Happy, miserable, on the fence, off the fence, happy, clappy?
Still happy as all, mate. We're European champions. We've got a trophy. Whatever happens at the club happens at the club. Just got to ride it, accept it. Nothing I say or do is going to change that. I've got my opinions. I keep them to myself. And you know what? We've got 11 and a half months before someone else wins that trophy. Let's just keep on reminding the Arsens that it's in our trophy cabinet. Until then, c'est la vie.
Next season, as always. Big up to everyone. Also, there's next season, Netflix, there's loads. Very quickly, happy birthday to Gaza, who was 58 earlier on last week. Legend of the club. Happy birthday, Gaza.
What a photo, man. That camera, man.
Was that the free kick in 91?
Yes, April the 14th, 1991.
Not that. I was in the terraces.
I'm really rubbish.
I was 13 years old. No, I was 12. I was 12 actually.
I'm rubbish at remembering dates, but for some reason, April the 14th, 1991 is not one I forget.
Listen, that's the first time they opened up Wembley for a cup semi-final, and my God, what a semi-final it was if you're a Spurs fan.
All the people that were in that stadium and behind the goal, just whenever I hear someone say I was behind the goal when he scored that, I was like, you lucky sod, man. You lucky sod.
And Iggy, imagine that was the day of terraces. Before all seater stadiums, that was terraces as well.
At the back, he would have come all the way to the front. And
I tell you, legend, Gaza, absolute legend. Look, let's start the show with one of the big stories because it is a massive talking point. Everything is at this club. Thomas Frank. So I'm sure everyone's discussed it, but I want to come at it from a different angle. So this guy apparently he's in talks with the board, allegedly. So Ange versus Frank. Right, I'm just going to put a few things up and then we'll discuss it. So this is our worst ever Premier League season, and Ange beat Frank twice. If you look at if you look at Frank, he's never won anything. The best he's ever done was to get a promotion from the Championship, but not even to win it. He came third place. He lost a playoff once, and he won the second one. And since then, he's been 13th, mid-table, 16th. So you'd class him as a bottom 10 manager in the Premier League. When you look at their record in the Premier League the last 2 years, Frank's lost 32 games, Ange has lost 34. So in terms of loss rate, there's no difference between them. The difference is that Ange has actually won a trophy. So my question is, if Spurs fans want progression, are we seriously saying sacking Ange for Frank is progression? Because, look, I'm in a place where I think Ange deserves to start next season. I'm not moving from that position. And I said 3 months ago, if he wins Europa, which I never thought he would do, which is why I made, not the bet, but it's why I said what I said, he proved me wrong, and I'm sticking to my word. But if we were to get rid of Ange, surely it's got to be a proven manager that's done something that excites fans. Is Frank that guy? And I'm not just trying to bash Frank. Maybe it is Frank. But from what I'm hearing, Frank divides fans as well, guys. Is this really progression? Is this the guy that's going to do what Pochettino was doing, getting to Champions League finals, semi-finals, almost winning the league? Is that Thomas Frank? What's your thoughts on this? Because for me, I'll be honest with you, if Glasner came in, I'd just get on with it. If Poch came back, I'd get on with it. If Frank comes, I just feel like we're going backwards or sideways. I don't understand why get rid of Ange. Just keep him. The dressing room are happy. Why change him for Frank? What's your thinking on Thomas Frank, guys? Because it divides fans again. You know, if this is the guy that's going to come in.
The only thing I think, listen, I'll be honest, Frank's not even in my top 5 of people that I want to come here.
Would you keep Ange over Frank, Lee?
Well, so this is what I think Frank brings that Ange doesn't. But it's not. Yeah. It's a minor thing, and probably 2 things. A, is potentially more coaching of players than the younger players, and B, a more civilized tactics when it comes to football, not the gung ho. But that's it for me. He's got no pedigree. I never wanted. I wouldn't have put him in my top 5 of who I wanted here. So I think the only real thing it would maybe stability in the tactics and maybe more coaching of the players on an individual basis or those. But that's it. And to be fair, with all of the shows and the WhatsApp groups and stuff like that I'm seeing today, I don't think it's necessarily a divide. I'm seeing more people saying, no, he's not my first choice than saying, oh, yeah, actually, Frank's perfect. So I think this one has come completely out of left field. And to me, it feels more like the way that Ange was brought in the beginning, in sense was it's not the first choice, it's the achievable, cheapest choice. Exactly like what Ange was. Because Ange was never the first choice person. He was about 7th or 8th. This sounds to me exactly the same. I don't see why they've targeted him. It makes no sense to me whatsoever, unless he's the easiest person to prize away from a managerial role. Because Glasner, he has got Europe next season, right, with Palace. We don't think they're going to do much in it, but they have got a chance.
I don't think he's leaving Palace League.
Exactly. I don't think he's going anywhere. Inzaghi, I'm sorry, he's going to the Middle East if he's leaving Inter, right? That leaves Xavi.
We'll know tomorrow what's happening when the
Well, exactly. But then still doesn't want him either.
Zagi's a bottle job.
I know.
Zagi's another bottle job.
Xavi,
Bottled it 3 times.
The issue with me with Xavi is that, yes, he's quite new in his managerial career. He's obviously come from a prestigious place and he's managed, but is he really ready for the Premier League? Is he going to, would he even want to come to Spurs? I mean, maybe he just wants to build his rep up and then go to somewhere bigger. Spurs
He'll be really good for young players, is what they say.
Absolutely. I think he will, but I just don't know how we get him here. So, again, I think it's just the easy route. And this stink, and if the reports are right and potentially Daniel's out or whatever, this stinks of Levy, like one last hurrah before he goes or something. Yeah, get the guy that no one wants. But who knows? I can't see Paratici choosing Frank. I mean, I don't get it. So,
all right, let me ask you guys. By the way, people that have been super chats, I'll come to them after we have this little chat about Frank and Ange. Let me ask you guys something, right? So Lee said that the one thing Frank brings is, you'd hope, better coaching of players and tactically more savvy. Frank has never managed in Europe, and he's never managed 2 games a week. Is he the answer?
He doesn't have pedigree. He doesn't have the pedigree.
Yeah, I would.
And he's never won anything. He's never won anything in his life as a manager. Is this the guy for Spurs?
You guys know in the chat, I said he's not my first choice, second, third, fourth, or fifth, or sixth choice. I would rather get Hoynes in before Frank. I agree with Lee in the sense of the 2 things. Structure, especially in the Premier League. And for me, I think the coaching of the youth and players, seeing what he's had at Brentford, because, you know, I know people have said, well, what has he won? Well, he's at Brentford. Like, you know, they lose their best player every year, you know. Is there anything, expectations in regards to them to winning things? My thing is, and you bring up a good point, you know, still in regards to Europe. Can he handle Europe and the league? Can he handle both? You know, people, in my opinion, because it came out Ange's mouth, can't handle both. So now we're gonna get another manager who could possibly not handle both. You know, so what is the difference? And I think the only difference is, so 2 things that Lee says, and I spot on and agree with him. Actually, I'm gonna add the 3rd thing. I was gonna save for later. The injuries, you know, it would decrease, and I will give you guys a little preview of where I'm going with that in regards to injuries, because that's the biggest complaint. So I think those are the 3 things I kind of give the edge for Frank, but I also understand that the 2 games a week, Europe, is maybe something that Frank may not be able to handle. So there's some points there, pros and cons.
Lubo, Iggy, Thomas Frank, Ange, who, you know, if you had to pick one, who are you going with?
No, there's no question. No question. You know, I can't let a few games at the end of the season blinker me and blind me to all the shit that I've been watching for the last 20 months. And it has, apart from a handful of games, been utter garbage. The guy can't coach. He can't put players into a proper system. We're all over the place. You know, and all this, it's who we are, mate. Really? Well, it's not who we are, mate, but won us the Europa League. So he did a complete U-turn because his style of football is utter shite. This is the worst league season we've had in our entire 143-year history. Let that sink in. We've never had as bad a league season as this. It's just dreadful.
But who cares? Who cares
What do you
if you're in the
mean, who cares?
Champions League?
Still, right. Let me break it down. Let me break it down. Angie's okay up to a certain level. But when he starts getting into the level of the top 10 in the Premier League, and let's be honest, maybe Frankfurt, but nobody else that we played against would get into the top 10 in the Premier League. That's his level. This is his level. He cannot go higher.
But he got fifth last season, and we could have got fourth if we didn't cheer Man City to beat us to start off from winning the league. I'm just countering it. That's all. I'm countering it.
Fine. Yeah. Still, after 10 games, we were top with 26 points, which was a record ever. He took everybody he took the league by storm, took everybody by surprise. It was really good to see someone being innovative to try two at the back with both fullbacks inverted. But when he could see it didn't work, and the form from Chelsea onwards went down and down and down. And if the league had started with Chelsea, we'd have finished 12th. So we've gone from top.
But it didn't start from there, Lubo.
No, that's fine. That's fine. But if you're looking at trends,
but you're using that as part of your argument. It's
no,
not
still,
I can use.
Okay, let me rephrase it. As a trend, let's look at it as a trend after 2 seasons.
Yeah.
First half of the season, I think we had 36 points. Second 19 games, we've got 30 points last season. First 19 games this season, we got 26 points. And the last 19 games of this season, I think we got 12 points, or it was 24 and 14. So the trend each half season is down and down and down and down. So if we carry on going like this, and do you know what? We can't rely on Leeds. What is it? Burnley.
You know, we were 6th in the league before we lost our defence.
Sorry?
We were 6th in the league before we lost our defence, and we were 4 points off second before we lost our defence.
Hold on. We had 19 points from 12 games, so we dropped. So we were we dropped virtually half our points.
But we were 6th in the league.
Right, but still, the only reason we were 6th was that everybody else was beating each other. It wasn't because we were so out.
But he's doing better than those teams. That's the competition, isn't it?
But what's happened since then?
Well, he mugged off the league in January and went all out for the Europa, as he's told us. If we believe him.
Still, he didn't mug off the league in January, because at the end of January we were only 8 points above the relegation zone. So can you imagine him saying to Levy, by the way, we're only 3 games off getting relegated at the moment, but I'm going to mug off the league? Not a chance Levy would have shown in the door. It's utter load of shit. And he won the next 3 games. He beat Brentford, Man United, and Ipswich. So he turns around and says, I mugged the league off at the end of Jan, then goes and wins 3 games. Do me a favour. Did
Ange not rest? No, but hold on, he did mug it off because he rested the best players in quite a few Premier League games, especially once relegation was out of the question, once the league was secure, we're not going down, he totally rotated. No one can argue that. We watched it every week. Look at the team he played against Palace. Was it 2 or 3-0 we lost to Palace? Last game.
It could have been 5.
But right, yeah. Go look at the team he fielded. He rested most of the starting 11, so he did mug it off.
All the fans like us that have got season tickets, for the away fans that spend big money travelling away, petrol, time, tickets, food, programmes, the lot. Sorry, it's unacceptable to just mug off a league when you've got thousands and thousands that are spending big money, and it's big money at Spurs with a high.
But you chose to go. You chose to go. I sold all my tickets. I'm like,
still, you paid your tickets. You don't get your money back because Ange turns around and says,
"You do if you sell them."
Bothering with the league.
Sell it.
It's disgraceful.
Yeah, but Lubo, you see, the thing is here, right? The thing is here, I heard the same arguments from Mr. Box Office. Hold on 1 minute. I'm just going to counter it. That's all. Mr. Box Office, Alex, he came up with the same argument, right? This was his same argument. Oh, I've been mugged off. Oh, we're paying for these tickets. And Alex isn't a season ticket holder. He chose to pay and keep going, knowing we were shit, and then do a video after every game like I did. This is shit. This is shit. I stopped going. I said, I'm not paying for it. You chose to keep going. Like, is that not a fair argument? Fans chose to pay to keep going and watching it.
Regardless, should I be put in that position where I have to choose? And why didn't he come out at the end of January? By the way, it's bullshit because he won the next 3 games.
Ange chose. Ange chose between the league and the Europa.
He didn't choose to mug it
He
off.
did
because-
choose.
No,
He didn't because he rotated the players.
No, he didn't.
Look at the teams he fielded. Look at the team he fielded at Aston Villa away. As soon as we saw the Aston Villa starting lineup, we all said we're fucked. We all said we're fucked.
Can I give you guys a preview? Can I give you guys a preview? Let me ask you guys a question. Where
And Iggy's got to come in as well because he hasn't spoken on Frank yet.
Okay, then I'll let Iggy go.
No, don't worry. No, Murray, speak, and then Iggy's next.
Carry on.
Okay. So, just a quick question before I give my point. Would you say the reason why we finished 17th, the number one excuse is injuries? Would you say
that's the biggest excuse? Yes, that's the biggest excuse. Yes,
that's the biggest excuse.
Yeah.
Okay. So in regards to Frank, here's the deal. Been doing an expose research, and I use that as one of my 3 points. You know, the 2 points that lead, they're my third point. The biggest difference is for Frank, in comparison to Ange, is the injuries that we occur, and a lot of the injuries that we occur as a team is partly to blame with Ange. I have like 4 articles here. One of them from Opta, and the name of the article is Ange Postecoglou to blame for the Spurs injury crisis. It was an article that was in March. The other articles were one from Celtic publication.
Mari, the hamstring injuries, yes. But the other injuries, no. Vicario, Bentancur, Madison's injuries were nothing to do with that. Hamstring injuries, I agree. The hamstring injuries, I agree. I wouldn't argue.
And the researcher on that too. I just want most people to know that 39% of the injuries that have caused Spurs players to miss at least one game this season have been hamstring related, compared to, I'll get the percentage, 23% league average wide. So we are above the average. We're number one. Of those injuries, hamstring injuries make up 58% of Tottenham's muscle-related injuries, compared to 41% of the whole Premier League. As I do my research, it was the same problem at Celtic. So my thing is, in regards to bringing Ange next season and compared to Frank, is that because the way we practice and the way we play, we will always have injuries. We will always be up there. I just have this quick diagram that I'm going to have for the episode. This is sprints and pressures. Tottenham leads every year. This year we led, as you can see from this chart right here. That's not going to change going to next season. Well, it will change if Ange is trying.
Unless Ange changes, Murray. Unless Ange changes.
Yeah. Unless Ange
changed in the Europa.
And Ange changed to save his job. But I'm just talking about in the league.
No, he changed to win a trophy.
He changed
to win a trophy.
Yeah.
He said he's going to win a trophy in his second season.
Yeah. He changed to win
He told us he was going to do that.
But in the Premier League, he's going to do his bread and butter. So that means we're going to struggle with injuries.
He did.
Just like
I'm sorry, I'm not having this. He didn't change to save his job because he's on the brink of being sacked. He did not change to save his job. He changed to win a Europa Cup.
Yeah, to save his job. To save his job.
No, to win a trophy. No, because he might get sacked. So he hasn't saved his job.
Okay, well,
he gets sacked. He hasn't saved.
Yeah, he sacrificed.
This is the argument that gets created, and
to win the Europa trophy. Now I'm tongue tied. To win the Europa, but going back to other competitions, the FA Cup, Carabao Cup, the league, when he plays his philosophy, he usually puts his players in danger, thus causing injuries, thus people come up with excuses. We're losing games. We don't have this player. I got bad news for you. The same is going to happen next season because that is Ange's philosophy. I just gave you a sample, a preview of the data. Like I said, I'm going to do that episode. Probably.
Murray, if Ange doesn't change his ways, then you are 100% right. if he doesn't change his ways, you're going to be 100% right on this. I wouldn't argue it. I'm not arguing that. This is why I say he deserves to prove me wrong, that he can adapt. That's been my whole argument of why I'm saying he deserves it. You're saying no, he doesn't, because he's not going to change, and the data proves it. And I'm not. And Murray, I'm not. Yeah, but right, exactly. So I'm not arguing. I'm actually not arguing. I'm not arguing with you on that point. Our argument is, will he change? You're saying still no chance. I'm saying he deserves a chance to prove
he's not changing, because that's just part of his history. It's part of his DNA.
And that's where we disagree. That's where we do. All right. Well, look, let me move it on to Iggy. Look, very quickly, a couple of super chats. And I know Lubo wants to speak again. Henry Fong TV says, R.I.P. the New York Knicks, Murray. Was there some kind of basketball game or something, Murray?
Yeah, Knicks got eliminated. That put me in misery. That put me in misery. The Knicks.
Alan, we'll move on from it. Alan Sibby says, have you turned into a happy clapper still? No, I'm just sticking to my word. And William Leon says, oh, super sticker. Big up, William. By the way, William's been with us for ages. He comes to all the protests as well. Big up to William. Iggy, look, man, you've heard all this. You're hearing the chat. You know, Thomas Frank as well. Where do you want to go with it?
First and foremost, guys in the chat, let's keep it respectful. That's the number.
It doesn't affect me. I'm not even looking at the chat.
Saying, keep it respectful.
They can say what they want.
At the end of the day,
my life's happy. My life goes on happy.
No.
Good.
All I'm saying is keep it respectful, because regardless whether you agree with someone's opinion or not, it's opinions. Yes, that's not respect the.
It's like
listen. At the end of the day, look. Unpopular opinions often cause a stir, so I completely get it. Listen, you and Ian and Cam. This is the two sides of the coin about who wants Ange to stay and who wants him to go. If you separate, it's two separate things. You know, the league is what people say the bread and butter, and obviously the Europa success is obviously. You know, that's the sides of the argument. But for me, in the league, what can I say, man? I don't think anyone in this place, in this panel and beyond, can agree that anything that we did in the league this season was anything but acceptable. So I completely and utterly get the argument there that we should strive for better and want better than 17th. And I'm sure everyone can also agree that we can do a lot better with it, even with this squad. Finished in the higher places. I've always said that this team is somewhere between 6th, 7th, and 8th. That I honestly, as we are, we should be finishing in those places there. But then again, I ask myself this: Frank or not Frank, and I'll get to Frank in a sec. If we finish 6th, 7th, or 8th, yes, whilst there's an improvement to what we did this season, hard to not to be anything but above 17th, not to be an improved. What have we fundamentally done? For me, I've seen us get 4th every year. I've seen us being 6th, 7th, 8th. And for me, all right, it brings more money to the club and all of this and that and the other. But for me, fundamentally, we're still at the butt of every joke. We're still at the butt of every meme. We're still get piss taken out of by every rival club and everything else, because their answer will be at the end of every season. And hear me out, guys. At the end of every season, always says, but what have you won, mate? Where are your trophies? Did you get a trophy for finishing 4th? Did you get a trophy for this? Did you get a trophy for that? Did you get a trophy? So this is something that's been going on every single year, not just doing this stream, but every single year since we last won a trophy back in 08 and been 91 before then, 84 in Europe. Yeah, I was a kid. I was like literally I was 7 years old when we won the 84. So I vaguely have any memories of it. Not in the same memory like I would have for what I experienced the other night. And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't think I would have ever experienced. I never ever thought I would experience a European night as a Spurs fan, like we did the other night. So it's. I understand the whole league thing. I understand for people that perhaps, you know, Europa League win and what happened in Bilbao and all of that stuff. It's not good enough. But so that's where regarding the Ange thing, like I personally, the way I sit with it right now, if he stays, okay. If he doesn't stay, okay. But in regards to replacing 1991, so did I say 99? I apologise. 91, I beg your pardon. 2008 and then 91 before then. Thanks for the correction. For me personally, though, Thomas Frank is not a name that excites me personally. I understand if we want to go down, he's a better coach. I can accept that than Ange Postecoglou. Absolutely fine. Then by bringing Thomas Frank, the way I envision us is that we're moving into a direction where we are looking for a coach that can bring out the young players, a younger team, if you like, somebody that a team that functions a lot better than perhaps we've seen in the league under Ange. I can accept that and all of that. But and I also know, we will be a 7th, 6th, 8th sort of team. And that just brings me back to what I've been accustomed to prior to Ange coming on board. Just every season finishing 6th, 7th, 8th at the best Champions League football provided. But in terms of winning anything, we're not doing anything. So that we would be going back to normality, in my opinion. That's if that's the direction we want to go in, and Thomas Frank is the person to be, so be it. It doesn't excite
Iggy,
me.
would you take Frank over Ange then? Yes or no? That's the question.
Is he a better coach? Is he a better coach than Ange? He probably is. He'd probably do a lot better with this team in the league, I have to say. I do think we would do a lot better in the league. But it doesn't. But the thing is
he going to win us a trophy, Iggy? Is he going to win us a trophy?
He's got
never won anything in his entire career.
An FA Cup, or he's got every chance to win an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup than Ange has.
Why? Ange's won everywhere he's been. Thomas Frank has never won anywhere.
Those competitions.
If you mean in terms of,
he's won everywhere he's
done. He hasn't.
Well,
that's
he's got the winning
irrelevant,
team.
That's different.
Why is it so? If your CV says win here, win there, win there, win there,
plenty of people Sorry, Stel, there's plenty of managers and coaches and that in history that have done it in one place but can't do it in another place.
Why would you risk someone that's never proven it with someone that's done it everywhere he's been?
Mate, I never said that I think Frank is the guy, but listen,
the question was Frank or Ange, and Iggy is saying that Frank would get us better in the league. And my response to that is, will he win a trophy though? Because what I don't want to
win a trophy next year.
If we keep him above him. I think he will.
Don't give me that entitled opinion that we should be winning trophies because there's hundreds of other clubs in these competitions that have every right. So no, Ange Postecoglou is not guaranteed a trophy. Don't start with myself. Right, where's my flip flops? I'm joking.
I just said yes. In my opinion, this guy, I think Ange will win us trophies. I think he's got it in him.
So you think that just because of Ange, we're going to win a trophy? I foresee that we won't win another trophy.
He's going to need some better players. He's going to need some better players, but that applies to every manager at Spurs. Even if Frank came, he would need some better players.
So the likes of...
If fans just want 8 and 7... Hold on.
So the likes of Eze and the likes of Sane, when they're on the phone call, they're being told, oh, don't worry about the league. We're just going to go for the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup with Ange.
No, that's not what they're going to be told.
Come to Tottenham. No, they're not coming.
They're being silly. They're being silly because
those
players got 5th.
Go for the league.
When Maddison picked up the phone, he got 5th and got into Europa. We wouldn't have been in the Europa competition if Ange never got us up. And nor can Frank. Frank's never done both. Frank's never done both leagues.
I know, but if we want those guys to come in
so
for
there's
the
your
league and the Champions League, then he can't do the cups as well. So no, I don't think Ange can win us a cup if we're bringing.
But
in
no manager's done that
players.
at Spurs League. Lee, no manager's done that at Spurs.
No, they haven't.
No manager's done that.
Very quickly.
Hold on a minute. No, 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. No, hold on. You say I know, but that's your argument crushed.
It's not my argument because I'm not. I'm just whatever the team does.
Context to it. The Jose one being the number one.
What's the context?
Well, Jose didn't get a chance to manage that final, so that's an incomplete.
Jose lost to Norwich, a relegated team at home at White Hart Lane. It doesn't matter. Fuck it. Fuck the cups. Fuck the cups. Doesn't matter.
Can I just quickly conclude what I was saying?
That final, he didn't get that one chance. Edge got that one chance to coach the Europa League
never
final.
know.
Because Mourinho, unfortunately, blew the place up behind the scenes.
Look,
You know,
doesn't matter.
Ange kept his mouth
2
shut
days before,
and was a yes man. And being the yes man actually worked with
6
Levy.
days
You would have thought.
before the final, he didn't get a chance to. I can say it was 2 months.
We were
away.
2-0 up against the mighty Dynamo of Europe. That huge.
Doesn't matter. He
that
got to a
European
final.
juggernaut. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We went there. We lost 3-0. Their manager's in prison. FaceTiming the team behind bars. It's all right. It's okay.
He got to a final and then get a chance to manage.
And got to 1-1 because he blew the place up. The way you dismiss the failures of previous managers is I can't comprehend that. Murray, see, this is the point. This is my argument. Every manager at Spurs, every manager has had easy opportunities to either win or progress. They've all been in those scenarios. They all fucked it. Now, I think Conte, Mourinho, and Poch are better than Ange, by the way. Just for the record, I think they're all better, all of them. But when they got the chance at this club, they all either fucked it, got into an argument, lost the dressing room, pissed off Levy.
And his fault. They got fired.
Ange, at this club, when the easy opportunity came, mate, he nailed it. That's the difference.
He's a yes man.
Right, so maybe if Jose played the game a bit better,
Hang on, let me ask you.
And Jose didn't want to do that.
Jose's record at Spurs is nothing. Jose's record at Spurs is nothing.
Incomplete. He gets an incomplete
fans booed him out. Fans said
Jose's to coach the final.
Terrible.
That is the truth. That is the truth. He did not get a chance to coach.
Who lost to Norwich in the FA Cup, Murray? Who lost to Norwich in the FA Cup? Relegated Norwich.
He could have been Man City. Who's the best manager?
Answer the question. I know you're avoiding it. Who lost to Norwich at home? A relegated Norwich. Who lost that game?
Hang on, Liverpool lost to Plymouth.
It doesn't matter.
We lost.
It doesn't matter. It's okay. We lost. It's okay. It's okay. But when Ange loses, it's a problem. His games are easy. Ange got lucky. Who blew a 2-0 lead? Who blew a 2-0 lead against a team whose manager was in
doesn't matter.
Was in Brixton prison.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. He got to a final and then gets.
When it's Ange, it matters. When it's Mourinho, it doesn't matter. This is your bias.
Right. Can we bring this?
This is the misery. This is the misery I'm talking about.
Never got a chance.
Misery.
Right.
It's pure misery, man. It's pure misery. The whole thing.
Let's bring this conversation back.
Conte loses to Sheffield United in the FA Cup. Sheffield United relegated team loses. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's okay.
Can I conclude what I was saying?
Not at Tottenham. At Tottenham, Conte couldn't handle it. It was too much. He got to argue with Levy.
Had Conte taken Tottenham into a Europa League with a level of clubs that we played against this season,
Conte couldn't win in the Conference League, Lubo. He couldn't win in the Conference League. What are you doing? It doesn't matter, though, yeah? Let me guess, it doesn't matter.
We got stung out.
Saint Etienne.
That was COVID.
Oh. What about the game we didn't? That game, Rennes, was it St. Rennes or something? We couldn't beat.
Oh wait.
See, this is what I mean, guys. These managers, I agree with you. They're better than Ange, but at this club, they couldn't do it. But yet, when Ange does,
that argument is weak.
We got
Jose could have won a trophy. He did not.
So why didn't he beat Norwich, then, Murray? Why didn't he beat Norwich?
Doesn't matter. He still got us to a final. He still got us to a final. That's facts.
Murray, if you're on Sky TV and you're having this chat with Thierry Henry and Jamie Redknapp, and your answer is it doesn't matter, I don't think you're going to get invited back on the show. It's not an argument. Where's the argument? It doesn't matter that he lost to Norwich.
You look at totality of Jose's time.
The fans were going crazy in the stadium. Eric Dyer ran into the terraces to have a punch up. But it doesn't matter.
Still, all you want
answer the question. No. You're not getting away with this. Why couldn't Mourinho beat Norwich?
Jose did not
answer the question, Murray. Murray, no, answer the question. Why could Mourinho be relegated Norwich?
What are we doing here, guys?
No, doesn't matter. because what the point that you brought up is
No,
others
no,
managers failed.
We're just
Others failed, and I brought up Jose. He did
And
that.
successful.
He not failed.
Murray, let me get a word in, please. Please. We've gone way off. We've gone way off the whole.
I don't understand this Conte
We've
argument.
gone way
and
offline here. We're not
don't
talking
get it.
about anything relevant. We're talking about what's gone on in the past. We're talking about now. I've come on to talk about now, today. Why you think Ange should be in next season and why I think Ange shouldn't be in next season. I'm not interested in Jose and Dynamo Zagreb and all this shit and Norwich. I want to talk about now. Sorry, guys. We go off on tangents, and I don't know if I was listening, I wouldn't even be able to keep up with it. The situation is that he is up to a certain level, Ange. And that level is the level of the clubs that were in the Europa League. When you look at his record against the top 10 clubs in the Premier League this season, we've won 4, we've drawn 2, we've lost 14. Right? He is not up to that level. We are not in the Europa League next season.
He mugged off the league this season.
I'm glad you mentioned
He mugged
Liverpool.
off the league this season, Lubo. He mugged off the league this season. But when I try and reference it to the past,
Still, let him finish, man. Let him finish.
We are in the Premier League. We are playing in domestic. Let's just talk. We're talking about a Premier League that is of a higher standard than the Europa League. We're going into the Champions League with the cream of Europe. And we're going into 2 domestic cup competitions against teams that are far better than us. Right. So please tell me we are going to get nowhere near a trophy unless we bring in a better manager that can coach the team, right? We are wide open in league games. All of us know that. We let in 65 goals in 38 games. Again, we let in 63 or 64 last year. That's 130 goals in 2 seasons. We cannot defend to save our lives. Do you know, Vicario missed 3 months of the season. He made more saves than any other keeper in the Premier League. And he missed 10 or 12 games. Please, let's bring some sense back. If Spurs had lost this game tonight, if Mickey van der Ven
it's not sense. Just because your voice is loud, it doesn't make what you said is right. No. I made it clear when we lost our defense, we were 6th in the league and 4 points off second. You dismissed that. How can you dismiss that? Right? The stats are okay when it's polled one way. For me, he threw the league. Now, was that the right thing to do? This is a big argument. Some are upset by it because we should have been higher in the league. For me, I couldn't give a shit because he won a trophy and the reward of that trophy was also Champions League. So who cares if we come 3rd or 17th if you win the Europa? If he didn't win the Europa, I'd be sitting here agreeing with Mari, agreeing with you, agreeing with Lee, agreeing with the chat. But winning that Europa, which was a high-risk strategy, and I remind everyone, 2-3 weeks ago, we did a show called Boom or Bust because the whole season hinged on that game. They gambled, and you know what? They pulled it off. Now, if Conte did that, Mourinho, Poch, Redknapp, we would say, brilliant, fucking winner. That's what you get with serial winners. But because Ange did it, fans can't handle this guy pulled it out the bag. Fans can't handle that he did it. And we're looking for any reason to be fucking miserable about it.
No, listen, still, I agree.
Listen, I get your concerns. I get your concerns about Ange. I get it. Go on.
I was just going to say,
someone said fantastic. Sorry, he got it all correct on the night. He did very well through the last 3 rounds of the competition. Fantastic. I had a fantastic day in Bilbao. I had a fantastic day on the Friday with the parade. Once I got out of that crush, and how people didn't topple over and we didn't have serious injuries, God only knows. So the stewards there were pathetic. I had 3 fantastic days. It took the Brighton game brought me back down to earth. But if I'm being a realist, once I put Bilbao to one side and I look at the season as a whole, and then I look at next season, and I think to myself, we don't have the Europa League with lesser teams to play against. So yes, fine. Ange got lucky. Whatever you want to say, He pulled us through. He got us over the line. But he just about got us over the line. We didn't fly over the line. Let's not. It doesn't matter how you get over the line. We did it. But we had one shot at 112 passes in close to 100 minutes. So we just shit our way through. And thank God Mickey van der Ven pulled that off the line, and Vicario made a great save in the last minute from Luke Shaw. So let's not. We didn't fly away and piss the trophy, piss the cup final like PSG did. We just about got over the line. Now that's great. That's terrific. He did it, and 17th in the league does not define our season, thankfully, because we've won a trophy and it's got us into the Champions League, which is the same as if you were finishing second like Arsenal. But if we're now looking forward at what can he do the job, for me in 2 years, he can't, because the football, apart from the first 10 games, has gone steadily downhill. The football is so boring. It is appalling. His game, this Ange ball thing, is based on perfection. And it's based on everybody doing the right thing, runs into space, ball across the box, back of the net. It happens once every 200 or 300 attacks. It's fantastic when we do it. But when you look at risk or reward, we get caught in transition so many times. We have fullbacks way up, we're wide open, and we get caught out far more than we do when we score the perfect goal. And that doesn't, and I'm not comparing goals against and goals for.
Why did we come fifth last season? Why did we come fifth last season?
Because we hung on to fifth still because of the start we made.
Why couldn't the others hung on to fifth? Why couldn't the others do it?
No. We had 26.
There's always an excuse, isn't there? There's always an excuse for when we do something right. No, if we get fifth, it's because we hang on.
Still, the form dropped. After those 10 games, the points per game dropped and dropped and dropped and dropped.
So aren't those first 10 games part of the season, Lubo? Aren't those 10 games part of the season?
Thank God we had those 10 games.
What about teams that start crap and are awful for 10 games, but they're finishing strong at the last 10? We did it in reverse. So what? We got fifth.
Up to a few weeks ago, you were saying exactly the same as me. You were saying you were mirroring everything I said.
I'm so tired of repeating myself to you and everyone else. Honestly, are you not deaf or in a wind-up? I'll say it again. I never believed this guy could win the Europa. I never for 1 second said he'd win it. I spent a whole year saying he can't do it. He hasn't got it in him. No chance. He proved me wrong. I've said it 1,000 times. How many more times should I say that before people say, oh, yeah, that's what Stel said?
Still, can you not see the difference between the level of teams in the Europa and the level of teams we play domestically? Will you accept that there are... How many of those teams we beat still finish in the top 10 of the Premier League? We know United, though, they finished 16th.
All right, and my reply to that is, can't you accept that we've actually got a manager that's proven he can win under this ownership when every other manager couldn't do it? And we want to get rid of them.
Let's go back.
We want to get rid of that. Thomas Frank, who's won nothing, who's a mid-table manager, but he coaches a couple of youngsters. Hold
on. Let's go back, and I'll be a little bit calmer, and I'll give you my thing. Listen, you're absolutely right. I think that the thing that's pissed a lot of people off about Ange, my opinion of that win.
I think they're more pissed off with me than Ange.
I know. Hold on. Wait. I couldn't listen. As I said, I couldn't care less how he won that cup. Right at the end of the day, he won that cup. We're European champions. That's all I give two craps about.
Yeah, but fans do.
How he did it.
They say the football shit.
Wait. I ain't get. Yeah, exactly. So, here's my take on why I think a lot of people are upset. And there's a lot of people out there that have done videos and that on this. Is simply put, is that you've got a manager that's he's basically flip-flopping, right? Not you, he's flip-flopping. In the sense that he says, it's who we are. We play our way. We keep going. It's going to work. It's going to work. And the last three matches of that Champions League, Europa League, he basically went against his own principles to win it. Fair play to him. He went against his principles. He played a different way and he won us the cup. I completely agree with you. He's done the job. No one other manager could have done that, and he's done it. He got it over the line. Fantastic. Now, moving forward, the club have said, great, you've won us a cup, but we cannot accept just winning cups each year. For us to remain sustainable, we must stay in the top half of the
Lee,
Premier
he didn't
League.
just win a cup. Lee, he didn't just win a cup, though. He didn't just win a cup.
No, he didn't win us. No, and he got us into the Champions League. I get that, right?
Hold on. That's a massive thing. That's a massive thing.
I know it's a massive.
That's like getting top four. Same as getting top four.
I know that. But
then can you say it? Can you say it? Because without saying it, it's diminishing it. It's not putting true context.
You haven't let me finish. You've literally butted in, not let me finish. Right.
All right.
So let me finish, okay? And then maybe you'll understand where I'm coming from. I get that, and I'm grateful that we're in the Champions League, etc. But the board and Levy will not let the amount of places we've lost in the Premier League, we've lost money there where we could have got Champions League through top four or something like that. Right? And that, look, that's a risk on their part, and that's mainly to blame for their part, because everyone can agree we should have made better signings, more competent signings rather than kids, and maybe we could have done it that way. But that's all in hindsight. But going forward, I don't believe that it's sustainable for the club to knock off leagues just to go and win a cup. And I believe, it's my opinion, and only my opinion, that for him to either win an FA Cup or a Carabao Cup is actually a harder job than winning that Europa League, because at some point in those competitions, you've got to come up against one of the big six, and I think that's a bigger challenge than the likes of Bodo Glint or Frankfurt or whatever. That's just my opinion. So it's a risk versus reward, or it's a forward-looking risk, because Levy's got to be there, or not. Maybe not Levy, maybe it's someone else, or the board now have got to be looking at it. Right, next year, right, we've got a cup, we're in the Champions League, we need to improve on the league form, but the year after, how we want to stay in Europe, that's where this club belongs. How do we do that? The only chance you've got of doing that, because, sorry, you're not winning the league, you're not winning the cup, so you either got to put all your eggs in the basket in the league to get top four, or you've got to put all your eggs in the basket to win the FA Cup. The likes of the top players aren't coming in just to win an FA Cup. So if we are going to sign those players, you're expecting that they're either going to go for the league or they're going to go as far as they possibly can in the Champions League for the revenue. So I don't think, even if Ange stayed, that would be the priority. I know you would like that, and you'd rather have a shit league position and win a cup, but I don't think that's going to be the priority of the club. And that's my only argument.
No, Lee,
I'd love it if we won a cup every month, but I just don't see how that can be.
That's not quite what I'm saying. What I'm saying is what fans want is for us to be challenging for cup competitions and doing well in the league. That's what fans want. And what I say,
and we can do that with fans a better squad. Better than we had last year.
Aha. So notice how you mentioned squad, not manager. But look how you mentioned squad, not manager. So the problem isn't the manager.
Yeah,
then,
but I don't think.
So why is this an Ange thing? If it's the squad,
because
that's the issue,
he destroys squads in the way that he trains and in the way that he deploys his tactics. There's too much.
Won a Europa Cup and got us into the Champions League. How's he destroyed them?
Okay, the happiest loads of injuries that loads of people reported are based on what the injuries. If he was so intensive in training, maybe that Europa League would have been easier. Maybe maybe the league wouldn't have lost us as many games. But we don't know. We simply don't know.
Let me.
Yeah, but see, there you go, Lee. We don't know.
Yeah, but on the basis of what I do know and what we are being told. We don't believe that Ange can do both things next season. So it's got to be one or the other. And I think the club will prioritise league. He won't prioritise cup. So if he can't do it all, then maybe get someone in with more sustainable tactics that aren't going to do that. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is, Stel. I really don't. I don't know. But I've never argued. I've never been arguing with you on this point. I'm just trying to understand everyone's point of view. And I get your point of view. I really do. I really do hear there is some merit to him staying. There is some merit for winning that cup. I get that. I completely understand it.
Iggy, come in. Where are you at with it, man?
Boys, I got asked a question about half an hour ago about Frank, and I didn't even get to finish what I fucking said. And all of a sudden, we've gone on for another 45 minutes, man, and that was it. I tried to interject, but I couldn't get a word's edgeways. We completely went on a fucking tangent. I'm sitting there waiting to finish what I was saying, man. I couldn't get a word. That's fucking wrong. I've never, ever interrupted and gone on for an hour when I'm in the middle of a conversation with any of you lot. I'll expect the same sort of treatment back. That's the first thing.
I apologize, Iggy. I apologize.
No. I'm talking generally. The first thing that needs to happen, we need to let people say what they've got to say. In the chat, listen, if you don't agree with me, I've said this at the beginning. In the chat, if you're going to have a say argue the argument, please. Don't come at people because they have a different opinion. Who gives a shit? And also, people can change. Let me say something else in the chat as well. People can change their mind without having to be called flip-flops. I don't understand it. People are allowed to change their minds. People, in the course of a season, whether you thought one thing or another, you can change your mind. You can agree and disagree with that mindset or mind change. I don't have a problem with any of that. But don't come at people for having a change of mind. The other thing, guys, the way I see it, and I'll conclude, I'm going to be very brief with this. The way I see it, next season we're in the Champions League. So the level already from the competition we just came from is we've gone up a level. We need to do better in the league. So we need to go up the table. Everything that's required of Tottenham Hotspur for next season revolves in going up a level. Up. So Ange, if he's not of the acquired taste, which is obviously the argument here, then fuck him off. I don't give a shit. Fuck him off. So thank you very much for winning Europa. See you later. But remember one thing. We're talking, and this is what everyone seems to be wanting, in here, out there, wherever you are in the world, Tottenham to be doing better in the league, to be doing better in the cups, to be doing better. Everything's leveling up, level up. So you need a manager that levels up. Where does Thomas Frank fit in this conversation? Where does Ange Postecoglou fit in this conversation? If you want to level up, you need to bring a level up manager. We're talking about Inzaghi. Let's get into the Inzaghi. And I'm glad Dietrich's here. I'll get into the Inzaghi. Yeah? Let's talk about Xavi. Let's talk about proper managers. Because that's proper manager means that they need to be better coaches. They need to do well in the Champions League for revenue reasons, for prestigious reasons, to bring the name of Tottenham Hotspur up the level. We need to do better in the league because what we did in the league this year is unacceptable. So we need to level up. So if Ange Postecoglou does not fit that whole mold, get rid. But bring me a manager that's a lot better than Thomas Frank, because Thomas Frank, for all the things I've just said, is not of the level, is not of the metal, as the people will say. So bring me a manager that's going to achieve that. If not, then stick with the same shit, because what? We're coming up 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th in the league is going to bring the procedures of Tottenham Hotspur back up in the Premier League. What about the trophies? Are we going to start ignoring that now that we've had a taste of it? Not for me, mate. It doesn't work like that. So I don't care. Listen, Thomas Frank ain't the one. Sava, Thomas Frank ain't the one, man. It's not the one that I need to see at Tottenham Hotspur.
Iggy, can I ask you one question? What you said, Iggy? One question.
But in my humble opinion,
yes, your opinion.
Is not the one for the level required that I want to see at Tottenham next season. Remember, guys, Champions League, the league, Premier League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup, every one of these things, we want to go up. Thomas Frank ain't the one, and Postecoglou is not the one. Bring me a manager that is. And these names are not
Iggy, one question based on everything you said. If the choice came down to, and there's no other options, Ange or Frank, who would you go with?
For me, it's like having a ham sandwich or a cheese sandwich. Both good, but not good enough.
Would you go for ham or cheese?
I'll eat them both.
You can only have one. You can't be greedy. I'm serious. I'm serious question.
But that's where we're at now. That's where we're at. So,
you haven't answered the question, though. You haven't answered the question.
Thomas Frank is a better coach than Ange Postecoglou, in my opinion. He is. From what I've seen on the pitch, from what I've seen Brentford and the way they play and the players that they have.
So you take Thomas Frank
He's shown me more. He's shown me more in the Premier League than Ange has. I'm judging for. I can only compare the two Premier League. If Frank had been in the Europa League,
I'll go with Frank as well.
No, can Can I go
From
next?
what I've seen in the Premier League, he's shown me
Let me
better
give you-
football and he's balanced it with the results compared to Ange Postecoglou, what he's shown me in the league. So on that front, from what I've seen thus far, he's a better coach. He's better with the players, young players, exciting players. He gets Brentford playing well. Now, do I think Thomas Frank could do it in the level of the Champions League or top four, what we want to see Tottenham in? I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you. It doesn't excite me, but that's just my opinion, man. If people disagree with that, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with people disagreeing. There's no problem with any of that.
Iggy, Dietrich, you absolute Inter Milan fraud. You look like an absolute idiot. Look, what are you wearing? How dare you? How dare you come on this show every week?
He has to hide his face. He has to hide his face because you are going to do
All
treble.
Yeah, talk to us about Inter Milan, Dietrich. By the way, you got 2 minutes because we're going to go back to Spurs. We've got other things to talk about.
Yeah, 2 minutes. So, sorry. I want to, dear Iggy, I'm sorry for the whole entire season making fun of you for AC Milan. We got absolutely battered against PSG, so I deserve the cooking, and I'm sorry. I'll never make fun of you ever again in my life. AC Milan will always be bigger. We absolutely got humiliated on Wednesday, and I'm wearing the AC Milan hat.
Oh, you're just a joke. You're an absolute
So
joke.
I want to apologize to you, and Forza AC Milan. That's all I
Iggy,
got to say.
do you accept his apology, and do you accept now he's wearing AC Milan clothing and part of your fan club?
It's done. It's done, man. It's done. Thanks for coming on, Dietrich. Apology accepted. You can go now if you want, mate. It's not a problem. See you later. You see, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. We had, let me just quickly, we'll have a little 30-second break. A 30-second break from the Spurs chat, guys. We had a shittier season than Inter Milan. I have to say this. They finished runners-up. We finished 8th in the league, in Serie A. So in terms of the league, they were better than us by far. They, in the end, were meant to challenge for the treble. They were going to do the treble. They were convinced of doing the treble. They ended up in the final Champions League, runners-up in the league, overtaken at Napoli in the last minute, literally went boom, 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 over. And then they failed the Coppa Italia. So it ended up 0. So the only thing I've got over Inter is the fact that Milan won an Italian Super Cup, beating Inter Milan in the final for it. So the one thing I've got over Dietrich is winning the trophy. Nothing else. So despite of all of it, despite of a shit season, winning that trophy and Inter not winning nothing is this is where it's right. So what I'm saying, don't underestimate. All I'm trying to say is, in spite of everything I said as well, don't underestimate the weight it has winning a trophy over your arch rivals. What's the one thing we got over Arsenal this year? We won a trophy. They've done better in the league. They've done better in the Champions League. They've done better than anyone else. But we got that winning the trophy. So I agree when it says that winning a trophy, even in a shittier season, does have weight into it. Because if nothing else, man, everyone look at the Gooners. They've gone quiet around us this year. This summer, it's going to be a quiet summer until they go back and win something. They can say, right, and we win fuck all, which will probably happen next year, the way we're going, because it's not clear what direction we're taking. So, do you see what I mean, guys? So that has weight. But I agree, Lit. But I want to be excited, guys. If we're going to do something real, and like I said, the level, that's one thing we have for certain, guys, is that the level next year is going upwards. No one can argue that with Spurs. So
Iggy.
So we need to level up, man. And these managers that we're talking about, Ange, Frank, we can't be arguing about Ange and Frank. We should be saying, you know
but
what?
we had Conte, we had Mourinho.
What's going to unite the fans is the hope of winning a trophy next year. Whether we do it or not is another thing. The only names, Mario, just to finish off, the only names that are going to be excited are someone who's done it. I want to see Xavi. He's won a trophy We've got Inzaghi. As much as I fucking take the piss out of Dietrich and what happened this season, he is a proven winner. He's won trophies. So unless he's a manager of a level required for Tottenham next season, mate, we can't be talking about these unless we're going back. If we're going to go back to coaching, bringing young players in, and we're going to go into that mold, which is back to being nothing again, because we ain't seeing a trophy in the time soon. We're just going to be a club that coaches young players, sell them on at a price, stability at the club. But in terms of winning trophy, I would never see another trophy in my lifetime if that is the way forward for this club, which it seems to be, which is where everyone wants to be. Up in the league, bread and butter, the Premier League, bread and butter, top 6, 7, 8, fourth at best. But in terms of the league, what? FA Cup? When people want to talk to me about the FA Cup and Carabao Cup, mate, have you seen the last 3 or 4 FA Cups and the Carabao Cup editions? When it comes to the crunch, mate, the best teams in the Premier League are always there, always. Now, where do we fit against these guys in the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup?
This is what I want to say.
Is Crystal Palace the best team in the Premier League? They came 12th and won it.
This year, the craziness happened. Newcastle won, Palace won, Spurs won. That's just
Newcastle were 5th. Though. Newcastle were 5th. That's understandable.
I'm saying
anything's
never won it before. Teams that I've never won it before. I'm talking about. Sorry, Mario.
I'm going to say this, and because there's some unfair things that are being said, even the title of the show. And someone in our group chat said it at best, I think yesterday, and I screenshot it. Right? I can speak for me. I enjoyed the Europa final victory and winning a trophy because it's the second time I've seen my club win the trophy. I celebrated. I was shit-faced drunk on stream with Maz celebrating the Europa League triumph. And I think anybody that loves Spurs celebrated that. But each and every one of us is different, right? In regards to shelf life of celebration. Some people it's 2 or 3 days. Some people it's a day. Some people maybe all summer, maybe still like all summer. Lubo, it may be just 2 weeks, right? Also, the same goes with what type of trophy you have. For me, Europa League, for me, to celebrate hardcore, 2 weeks, 3 weeks tops. But a Premier League, a Champions League, man, I'm celebrating that like forever. If you told me if we won the Premier League, it will be this season, and we will shit the next 5 seasons, I'll take it because that moment of because there's different levels. Not all trophies are the same, right? Some people they put Premier League, Carabao Cup on the same. Not me. There's different levels, right? There's tier 1 for me, and tier 1, I'm celebrating centuries. I'm running naked. I'm doing whatever craziness, right? And then there's the next level, FA, Europa. So for me, watching this team all season long, the dross, not the depression, but just watching the game. And kudos to Ian, who goes to all the road games, he goes to the home games, to see that all season long. Then for the last couple weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, yes, there's excitement in crossing the line and winning the Europa League. Yeah, that's great. But now that everything has worn off, I'm going into what hope do I have that next season that this team could progress, be successful, win a trophy. And it's difficult for me to find that in the sense of league play because I've seen each and every week our Magic get out-coached. I joke around of us being Pornhub FC every week because we're exposed every week. So I'm seeing this. Then I also know that the injuries is more than normal. Why is that? So I do my personal homework and see like, wow, this is always going to be a problem. And then I look at the competition around, right? No disrespect to Europa League, but in my opinion, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, that route is a little bit more difficult. Naturally, it's difficult because you're playing your brothers, right? You're playing your other English teams. They know you better than outside of Europe. Didn't even mention the Champions League. So when I look at all that, I'm like, is this guy, and looking in the Europa League run, am I confident that this guy is going to be successful going into the next season? And I think that's what those who are out like me, right? We love the trophy. Don't get me wrong, we love the trophy. But because we looked at, and that's what Levy and the board is doing, they look at in totality the whole season, and they're looking into what are the pros and cons of keeping Ange for next season. They have to come to an educated decision in regards to, is this guy the best guy to take us to where we want to go? And for me personally, I say no, but I still love the trophy. I'm still celebrating the trophy, but I want a new coach. I want someone who can bring structure, give us the best chance to win every competition. I just want structure for my team because I saw chaos, and I felt humiliated that the NBC coverage, the Peacock coverage here, every week they make fun of Spurs. This is a team that plays chaos football, and I don't want to see that next season. Yes, I want to win a trophy, but I want to be competitive in each competition, and I want to see structure for my team.
Mari, can I ask a question with what you just said? Because I just find it unbelievable that people keep saying the same thing with zero answers to it. You want us to be competitive in every competition. No manager has ever done that under Daniel Levy. All I hear is fans want the impossible. It's not been done before. How do you get there? How do you get what you just explained to me you want as a fan? To be competitive in every competition. Tell me how we get there.
I get it in the sense of how do we get there, but you can't the thing is you can't sacrifice just because you haven't done it doesn't mean
I've got the answer, but go on, man.
And you can't hope for it. I understand you're going back by history, and there's people who've done close. Maybe Mourinho.
Mari, can you tell me how we get there? You're going around the houses. Get to the point, please, honestly, because it does my nutting. How do we get there?
I'm getting
no one answers this question. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna answer it. It hasn't been done yet. It hasn't been done yet. But we hired new coaches in hopes of it happening. Because right now I'm not seeing it with Ange. I'm not seeing it. So if he's not able to do it, off with him, on to the next. Until we finally strike gold.
We've had 14 managers, different coaches, 7 football directors. Your answer is same again.
It's nothing to do with the manager.
Until we finally find one.
It's nothing to do with it. But the thing is, you don't listen.
Crazy.
How we do better in the league? How do we compete for Premier League? I'm assuming we're talking about league title. Listen, that league title challenges and stuff like that. There has to be a program in place for 2 or 3 years, 4 years, and it requires investment. It requires leveling up. I'll keep going on about it. It's leveling up all the time.
What does leveling up mean?
It requires ambition of the club. It requires the whole setup being one where we are moving up. You need to bring managers of the level, but then there's no point bringing in Inzaghi and saying, Inzaghi, do better with the squad. There's no point bringing in Inzaghi. Romero is potentially linked to going somewhere else. And we need the setup of our club to be one that we're going to say that the thing is, this is what drives me nuts, and I've said this in previous streams. We are right now right in this moment as we speak, because Ian wants to talk about here now and moving forward. Right now, we are in a position of power. We've won a trophy, something that every fans have wanted. We've won a trophy. So now the monkey's off the back. So right now the club is in a position of power where they don't have this, get us a trophy, we want to win, we want to succeed, we want to fill the trophy. We've got that. So now you've got the fans, okay, man, we're cool right now. We're in a good place. That's number one. We're in a position of power as a club because we're in Champions League. So that is prestige to the club, prestige to the team. For next season, fans, we want to be at the highest level competition in Europe. But it's also financially very rewarding for the club. Everyone wins. Position of power. We're in a position of power for all the things I just mentioned right now. What are we going to do with it? What are we going to do with it? The owners right now have got to say, look, how can we go one better next year? I'm not saying we're going to achieve it, but how do we position ourselves to go one better than it? We need a better manager, but a better manager that's going to unite and excite every fan. So Ange Postecoglou is not one because it's causing, we can see it's happening everywhere. In here, it's happening amongst the Spurs fans. Whether we agree with where Stell's arguing of Ange in or anyone else, or whether you're Ange in or Ange out, doesn't matter to me. It's not the level required. So we need to bring a manager that can at least raise that level. But also the club has to put the team and the manager to go up. So I don't see that ambition for the club. It does winning a Europa League has not the change the setup of this club. They're happy about the Champions League money coming in. Do they give a shit about the winning of the trophy? I don't know. I don't think anything has changed in that sense. So for me, right now, if I don't see these things come into place, it doesn't matter to me whether Ange Postecoglou is in next season or not, and Frank is coming in or not. It ain't going to excite me personally either way. So unless we level up, we will lose this position of power that we're in right now. And I don't feel I've seen anything. The fact that they're taking as long as they are to try and make a decision whether Ange is in or out, that tells me the level of where the club is at in terms of footballing ideas. You're talking about Mario. What I've heard you speak about just now, the direction of the club. We can't make a simple fucking decision whether to confirm the manager or not.
Can I answer Stell's question, right, please?
No, but Iggy hasn't answered the question though. He hasn't answered.
Can I answer? I think I can answer it.
How we
like
go
question
up?
Time.
Mari said he wants us to compete. But Mari said he wants us to compete on all fronts. That means league,
investment.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
So what we have to do. This starts
if the answer is investment, then it's nothing to do with the managers. This is all about Enoch and Levy. Then can we just agree it's all about Enoch and Levy?
No, and just more than that. No, more than that.
What do you think is this about?
That's the question I asked, Dickie. I just asked the question.
The setup is sorry, Lee.
Your answer was different to Mari's though. Mari said keep changing managers. He said change the coach. You're saying
I'm telling you my position. Everyone else can argue their own.
It's what I'm asking. Go on, Lee.
The answer to your question, Stel, in terms of being competitive on all fronts, is very simple. It starts from the top, and the whole philosophy of the club needs to change. Right? Correct. The board needs to be split. You need to have commercial side, and then you need to have football focused side. We need to start thinking like Manchester City, etc., etc. Now, a caveat to that is that we, as we're always told by the likes of Levy and stuff, is where is that money and investment coming from? So that has to change. The club needs to find ways of supporting being like a Manchester City. So that's all got to change at the top. To add to that, to Iggy's point, we need to level up the types of managers that we're getting in, right? And this is all. Listen, this is not what I'm saying is going to happen overnight, but this is just answering your question. We need to be getting the level of manager like a Klopp or a Pep, someone of that. If we want to be competitive over everything, we need then to buy the type of players that Manchester City, Liverpool, etc. by, which means we need to increase the wage bill, which are all things that need to happen, but are never going to happen when Levy's in charge. So to answer the question, we need to do that, but it's never going to happen unless there's a complete full reset and it starts at the top in the philosophy of the club.
Which is, and what
So it's all over.
Lubo, okay, which goes back to what my argument's been all week on all these YouTube channels. What Spurs fans want, you can't have unless you fight for change. And when I go down that route, they all rein it in. No. Ange Postecoglou. No. Thomas Frank. No. Glasner. This is the argument to get thrown back at you because no one's prepared to admit what fans want, you can't have unless the owners either go or change how they do things. But they don't want to hear that because it's so submerged in the manager. But you're not allowed to say Levy anymore because it just kicks off as well, you know?
Still, how many times have we had this conversation on here? We're talking
you're saying get Thomas Frank in and it's all right. It's like,
hang on, we're talking macro and micro. Let's start with the big picture. And let me answer your question via the big picture. And let's just take, for me, my favourite manager of recent times, who challenged in both the Premier League and the Champions League, which is Poch. Poch prioritised those two competitions because he didn't have the big enough squad to go after all four or even challenge in all four.
I agree.
Okay, so are we going to challenge in all four? We haven't done that since the mid 80s. 81, 82. We reached the FA. We won the FA Cup in 82.
But Ian, Poch was like a Frank, right?
Sorry, Lee?
Poch was like a Frank, like he is now. He was an unknown at Southampton.
And let me also say,
Poch got seventh playing dynamite football. It was a bit different.
Yeah, that was when all the stars aligned, apart from the Levy stars. They didn't align. He got what he needed to do.
I think we can probably agree in terms of trophies. The best two managers that we've ever had are Bill Nicholson and Keith Birkinshaw, and neither of them, I don't think, won trophies before they came to Spurs. So this whole thing about Frank not having won a trophy, you've got to remember, Frank is at Brentford. To win a trophy means you've got to go into a bigger club with bigger backing. Frank has spent 70 million net in 7 years. That's 10 million a year. You know, Brentford don't have the financial muscle.
Crystal Palace did it in a year and a half.
Right. Hang on. Palace are a bigger club than Brentford. The stadium's 10,000 bigger. They're just a bigger club.
Wigan did.
No,
Wigan did it.
Okay, they did it once. I think what we're talking about here is
it for the first time ever in their history.
I know, but still, do you want a situation like Greece in the Euros? Prime example. They haven't got anywhere near. No, hang on. It was a one-off. They haven't come anywhere near. Wigan, Portsmouth. There's another two examples that
but Andrew's done it everyone's been.
No, but you understand the point I'm making. We've won a trophy. We want to be. Why can't
I think Ange can build on it, Luke. I don't agree. I think Ange can build on it.
Right. Still, we've got away with 17th this year because we won the Europa League, which is as good as finishing second. So we've got away with it, and with a fantastic day. But this can't be repeated. We can't have another because we finished 17th again. We're not going to win another trophy next season. When
we didn't focus on Europe, we got fifth.
Right.
So what you want is to be high up in the league and trophies. And I'm saying no one's done that. It's not right. Look. Let me ask you a question.
Newcastle finished fifth and won a cup. Chelsea finished fourth and won a cup. Why do we have to finish 17th?
Chelsea spent £1.2 billion on players. Newcastle already has been there, 3-4 years? How long has Eddie Howe been there? 3-4 years?
I think Howe's been there 3 or 4 years, yeah.
Right, look who he signs. Isak, Tonali, Gomares. Look who he signed.
Still, I don't think they've been able to sign anyone this year. To avoid getting fines and getting points deducted, they had to get rid of Elliot Anderson. They had to get rid of to Forest. They had to get rid of Minte to Brighton. Or, because...
Were Newcastle in Europe this year, Lubo?
No, they weren't in Europe this year.
There you go. So when we went in Europe, we got 5th, I'm just hitting back with the facts. I'm not trying to...
You watch all the games.
Trying to point out we've done the same.
No, but what I'm saying is let's not let the cup run blind everybody to how the league has been. And Ange isn't capable of running two competitions alongside each other. He's admitted that.
No, but Lubo, I'll go back to my argument. Who's done both? Poch came the closest, but ultimately he failed. And he had the best team ever. Poch, with the best Spurs team ever in Premier League history, failed. So at the end of the day, fans can argue with me all they like. I'm going to come back to it and say it as it is. Either we go for cups or we just focus on the league. Don't give me this we can do both bullshit. Not you, but fans that argue that is absolute bollocks. If you want both, the answer is simple. Protest and fight for this club to start raising the wage bill, like Lee said, and spending the budget on 3 or 4 quality players, not 8 or 9 players. But unfortunately, this happens to Poch, Redknapp, AVB, Ange, Conte, Nuno. It happens to everyone. It's the board that has to change before managers change. Listen, bring in Frank. Great. Let's get to a quarterfinal, not do well in the Champions League, and finish 7th or 6th. Hurrah. We're back to being called Spursy. Nothing's changed. Frank ain't going to do anything different than Poch did. Nothing.
So we've got a ceiling. We've got a ceiling under Levy. We've got a ceiling. We never...
And that's where the argument should be. Not, let's get rid of the manager again.
No.
In my opinion, just my opinion,
We could maybe get...
We're fighting for the manager to change.
But that's just based on what we've seen last season, that's all.
Iggy, who really thinks here, Mari, look, let me come back to you, right? Do you really think by changing manager, anything at this club will change? Just by changing manager?
No. Sorry, no.
Mari, what do you think?
In regards to being competitive in the league and possibly the domestic cups, I would say yes. In my opinion, I don't think we are winning a trophy next season. So, but
even if we change manager, Murray,
I would say our percentage will be higher in the domestics because we're not playing Europa League. I'm just being honest. We're not playing the Europa League, and the degree of difficulty of winning those other trophies are harder because I don't think Ange.
We're playing Champions League. We're playing like 2 games a week again.
Yeah, we're playing Champions League, and that's a hell no. I don't see us winning. I mean, to be serious, if I was joking around, I'm like, okay, we'll play because Bodo Glimt is in the Champions League. Yeah, we get them on schedule whatsoever, but I think we do better in the league. I'll say this.
Better how? Top 4, top 8, 6th? What?
Okay, this is how I see this. With Frank, I could see us finishing 7th and maybe getting to the semifinals of the FA Cup. But with Ange next season, I actually see us doing much worse. I see us finishing 12th and being knocked out of the competitions.
Murray, just to remind you, this year we got to the quarterfinals, to a semi-final of a Carabao Cup. We were 1 game away from a final.
Yep, and we beat City.
Playing 3 games a week.
Yeah, and City is already going to improve. I have teams that I'm already looking who are already doing that work. I see them that they're going to improve. I honestly think, and for me, I want to see Ange have his season next season because I want to sit back and just watch because the reasons that I said we have no structure in regards to defense, teams have sussed us out in that regard, the difficulty of playing Champions League, and then the injuries. Edge runs players to the ground, and the evidence is there. Because of those 4 reasons, I see that we are going to have a real long season next season with Ange. As with Frank, I see that there's going to be a more comp. We won't be better in regards to trophies, but in regards to the league, yeah, I see us doing much, much better.
So if we come 7th next year and get to the semi-finals of a cup, we're going to be happy with that. As that's good.
No one's happy with that, but it's better. It's better in regards to, because I know what you're gonna say. Well, is it winning a trophy true progression? Yes and no. Because like I said, if you believe with Ange that you're going to win a trophy next season, then I get what you're saying. I don't believe that we're not going to win the trophy with Ange next season. I think he got all the stars aligned, and he got that chance to win that one cup for us. Where with Frank, there will be more structure. We'll do better in the Premier League, not necessarily in the domestic cups, but anything can happen.
The thing is, guys, if we talk, this is where I'm a bit torn, right? Because I get all the arguments I've heard. I'm torn because I'm torn.
I'm laughing because you're fed up of it as well. I get it.
No, do you know what it is?
What used to worry? It's the whole conversation.
No, do you know?
I get you.
I get.
Mate, it's
we're
miserable.
Talking about improvements. I'm talking about improvements. We want to see Spurs play better in the league. Granted, we want to see Spurs certainly finish in a better position than we were in 17th. No argument there. But we're talking about improvements. Finishing above 17th is a no-brainer, and we can go up the table. We should be doing better with the squad. No two ways about that. But when I hear things of improving, I'm hearing things doing, finishing 4th, like it's a given to finish in the top 4. Europa League, where we should be aiming. That's okay. We can improve to that. We can work towards that. We can do things to better that. Change the manager. That will for sure get that. But it doesn't excite me, man. When I've tasted, it's like you've tasted success after such a long time. Can we at least go back out there next season? I'm not saying there's any guarantees of winning a trophy or any rights, like Lee said earlier, to say that we should win a trophy. But can we at least start and prepare for a season that at least says, do you know what, we're gonna do something, we're gonna try and do even better. We want to do better rather than this season. So better for me, it has to involve winning trophies, because anything for me, talking about doing better, doing improvement, and not talking about doing something and winning. You know what? Even if we go back to being the Tottenham that probably the older lot would know a bit better, the cup team, that trophy Spurs were known for. Even that, for me, say, look, let's get up the table, but let's go for the cups, or let's really put the energy in the cups. Something that we've never, even under Poch, by the way, we never put that sort of energy in winning a Champions League final. I'm talking about the domestic cups. No manager under this Tottenham regime, under this Levy regime, has then never put any energy in any domestic trophies, something that Tottenham have always been known to do. So even for me, just to say, look, do you know what? Fine, bring the revenue, bring the money, bring us up the table, improve us up the league. That's absolutely fine. But can we, when we talk about improvement, can we not neglect the side that, or certainly me as a fan want to see, is going for a trophy, whether we get it or not. But I want to see it put the same sort of energy in bringing revenue into the club in the same as way bringing a trophy, because we have to be able to combine the two. You can't prioritize one over the other. You don't want to get in bringing the revenue and ignoring the trophy, but you don't want to get yourself a club so in debt just to get the trophies. Just unite the two things. And this club has never united the two things, so it doesn't matter. Again, I'll say it again. We remember this time, because I say it now, we will never be in this power the way we are right now, this moment right now, in terms of what I said earlier. Fresh of winning a trophy, financially stable, Champions League football. We will never be again in this in the way we are right now with everything together. Because right now everything's all together, everything's aligned. We have to go big next year. And
Iggy, can I?
That's what the manager is. You all know that this ownership is not the one to be thinking big. So you're all settling by saying, I want to see us play better in the league. I want to see us go up the table. Even if we make a semi-final and we finish 5th or 6th or 4th, isn't that improvement? Yeah, great. We've improved. Brilliant. All right. But we're not
Guys,
can
I
the trophy that we want to win
Iggy, I
again.
want to take what you're saying. Iggy, I want to take what you're saying, right? And I want to move on to this power thing that you talk about, right? Just a couple of super chats, and I want to expand on what Iggy's just said. Couple of super chats. Alan Sibley says, "I know what you're doing, Stel." Okay, thank you for the super chat, brother. Sanila says, "Lubo, you take this one. Would better players take us up a level more than Thomas Frank, or vice versa?"
I think Frank would help us big time because I think he's a very good coach who's done. I think he's done brilliantly with no financial muscle at all. I mean, it's all very well someone on the chat saying, "Oh, you know, Frank's lost 33 games," but hang on, with Frank's not managing Tottenham like Ange has managed Tottenham. Frank's not managing Chelsea or Man United. Not forget Man United, Liverpool or Man City. He's managing Brentford. Don't know what do people expect. This guy has come in. Brentford are not a yo-yo team like all. You know, we've got clubs going up, going back down again. You know, like Leicester, Southampton, Burnley, West Brom were yo-yoing, and now they can't get back up. Frank has brought Brentford into the Premier League, and they were nowhere in the Championship when he took them on. He's lost Ollie Watkins. He's lost Ivan Toney. I'm sure there are.
Where do you see Frank taking Tottenham?
Did anybody think Eddie Howe would take Newcastle to where he's taken them?
No, but where do you see
based on Bournemouth and Burnley?
Hang on. Eddie Howe is a great coach, but he had the backing of the team. The ambition of the club was to go up. They wanted to go the other way. Mike Ashley was stopping them doing that, but these owners said we're going up. And we're going to put a coach in place, and we're going to together we're going to bring the club up. Where do you see Frank taking this Tottenham team with these owners, everything? Where do you see him going? Which is his words?
Okay, bearing in mind everything that's been going on today, Iggy, let me just sort of give you two answers for that.
Yeah.
With Levy running it, I think that a manager, whoever it is, could maybe get us up to 4th, but can't really challenge much higher than that. I think there's a ceiling. If Levy goes, and I'm very hopeful that he will, and I hope the last season, I'm sure they got a shock when they're where are we? End of January, we're 8 points off relegation. The slide down has been so fast after beating City to the end of Jan that we're only 8 points clear of Wolves. They all got a shock, and I think it's a real sliding doors moment at the club because we got out of jail by beating United. Otherwise, you'd have had 5 other clubs, 6 other clubs pulling right away from Spurs in terms of money that's coming in, which will give them financial muscle. I mean, it's bad enough you've got City and Chelsea that are going to bring close on 100 million in, I think, from this World Club Championship. But all the other clubs that are in the Champions League, Villa in the Europa, Palace, not so much Palace. So, I mean, Glasgow will do well to. Maybe he will improve them. Who knows? If we get new owners in who are ambitious, then this club can go all the way. This is a big club. It is a big club.
We don't act like one, man. We don't act
like one. Iggy, we've got to have standards. We can't be saying 17th is okay because we got in the Champions League because we won the Europa. We can't.
Guys, the question's about Thomas Frank. Sorry, guys, I've got other super chats. We're going off on one here. Thomas Frank,
I think, would take us up 4th, 5th seat. That's where I think Frank could take us.
All right, let me do the other super chat.
I just want to be clear because I don't know if it's not coming across. I'm not in the panel, but in the chat. I'm not disrespecting Frank. I'm fully aware that Frank's a really good coach, and he certainly deserves better than Brentford. All due respect to Brentford, and Tottenham certainly would be a better move for him than staying at Brentford. No two ways about that. My thinking is not so much about the manager, Frank. I just don't see because again with Newcastle, yeah, they haven't spent because I understand this. I'm saying that the scouting, they've invested in the scouting, they've invested in better scouting than Spurs. What Spurs are scouting? What we're talking about there? What we're talking about anything that's worked at Spurs? Medical staff at Spurs. What's A grade at Spurs that's anything to do around the football team? Nothing, mate. We're not talking about anything of the elite level required, the standards required at Tottenham Hotspur. Now, Frank can come in and do a better job. Yeah, it would do better than Ange Postecoglou did this season. But 17th, bringing us to 10th, that's an improvement. Getting us to 12th, that's an improvement. Anything that's above 17 is going to be an improvement. And I'm not saying, look, Frank can even take us to top 4. And that's and that would be the maximum that he can do as a manager with this team, would be to bring us back into Europe, confirm bring us to Europe without winning a trophy. That's absolutely the maximum that he could do. But why should he? What I'm trying to say is we need everything to be A grade. We need to invest in recruitment. We need to invest in scouting. But we had under Mitchell, that level required, or at least the level that even Pochettino had.
Yeah.
What we let Pochettino down with is the lack of investment. But we was in the right trajectory. So we need to have the same sort of trajectory happening there, the same level required, but more investment. Now we've gone the other way. The level required that the club is not there. We spent more money, but on the wrong fucking manager. When we had it all there, we didn't invest it. And now that we don't have it, we're investing. So we've never done everything together at one time. And that's the problem with to do with the setup of this club, which we can all agree on. So for me, Ange Postecoglou, Frank, fine. You know what? If you want to keep Ange, you don't want to keep Ange, absolutely fine. Either way, whatever. We want to bring Frank in or any other manager, whatever, bring him in. But guys, the club has to change for anything to better at Spurs. Now, like I said, and this is going to be, I'm going to keep going round and round and round the same fucking thing. We are in a position of power today that we're not going to have tomorrow or the day after. We're not going to be in this position again. Fresh of winning a trophy, financially stable, Champions League football at the club. Now what? Where's the next move, guys? I want to see the next move from the club. I want to see a club saying, you know what? Let's go. Let's ride this. Let's get this momentum that we've got right now and shift it up a level. What we're talking about tonight, manager Frank, Ange Postecoglou, for me is so fucking small that we're missing the big appointment, which is here, and we're talking about here. Bring a manager in. It's not. It doesn't change the dimension of the setup.
Iggy, I 100% agree with
guys. 1 minute. So, Mari, sorry, guys. I've got super chats to do, and we're going off on tangents. I'm going to come on to this subject next. This whole power, Enoch Levy. Can we just pause it for a minute? Otherwise,
can I finish after super chats?
Yeah.
After super chats. Yeah. No. Say super chats, and then
all right. Okay, cool. Because I'm still going to get through them, and we are going to talk about it. We are going to talk about the subject. Phil Coy's big up member for 6 months. Maury, take this one quickly. Our fan base is like oil and water, no unity at all. Do you agree with that?
I've said it. I agree with it. I think our fan base is confused. I think our club is confused. I think anything associated with Spurs, even YouTube Spurs, is confused. It's just, I'm just confused. I'm just like, what do we want as a club? What do we want as a fan base? Like what do we want? And I'm just confused. So yes, there's no unity at all because this club is confused.
No unity unless we play Arsenal. Iggy, this one's for you. Make it quick if you can. Big up Sava. Football Heritage TV. Make sure you like and subscribe to Sava's channel. Iggy, surely our fans understand that we can't win a trophy every year. So what we must do is
go for a trophy. Yeah.
Let me finish the question. You can do it. Iggy, surely our fans understand that we can't win a trophy every year. So what we must do is get right up that league and get as much revenue as possible. Try for a cup, of course. 17th is a disgrace. Now, go for it. What do you guys say about that?
I agree that 17th is disgraceful. I will say try for a cup, of course, but we have to create the situations to go for a cup. Don't just say we need to go for a cup and not create. The same way you're saying there, Asava, that we can't win a trophy. Yeah, I agree, but we've got to set up like we're going to do it every year. Then if we do it or not, we'll wait to the conclusion of the season. But what we need to get is to bring as much revenue as possible. Sava, we've always finished how many seasons, and we've always brought this club has never had a problem with revenue. Never. It's never had a problem. We've always make money. Those stadiums are sellout. Even this season, the worst season that you've seen and when we've seen, never an issue. That stadium is maxed out, packed out, and it's fucking. You guys are season ticket holders. Have you ever seen it half empty or anywhere near empty?
Spurs have got money. Spurs have got money.
So we are financially very, very stable. We're not lacking money. And now this season we've done it again where we brought a lot of money in the club, a lot of like merch and all that. Everything's been sold, even more so. What we need to do now is level up on the pitch because do you know what? The taste of success brings even more money in. Let's get the one thing straight. Success at a club, trophies at a club, bring even more money. We had 250,000 at the fucking parade, man. You know how much money they made that day? Like at the club itself, the superstore was maxed out 20 million times over. People buy merch because they wanted to go and win. They wanted to go and buy it. The shirt that they will always remember is the season that not we finished 17th, it's the season that we won a trophy. So whenever you look at that shirt, you will always link it to the success. Why do you think we have the retro part of the superstore that we have or in online? We always have these classic shirts. Why are they classics? Because they are linked to success at the club. If you look at the 91 shirt, always a sellout. The Holston shirt. Why are these shirts always such a big sellout? Because marketing tells us we link them with nostalgia. Nostalgia is linked to success at the club. It's the moment that Spurs have made you happiest at the club. When was that? When we won a trophy. So we need to bring in the revenue up. We need to go up the table. We need to bring trophies as well. The things that have to unite, you have to unite everything. You can't accept revenue over trophy. You can't say we need to prioritize going up the table, but then it's like if we win it, we win it. No. We have to put the priority of winning the cup in the same level and energy that we talk about finances, revenue, and all the other shit that we have around the club, which always generates money. This is what the stadium was created for. But we need to bring trophies at the club so the fans can also be happy. You and I can be happy. People not rival clubs talking about Spurs here not winning a trophy ever. They've all shut up now. So we need to unite all the things. And like I said, and I'll keep saying it, we will never ever be in a position of power that we are right now. And if we miss this boat, I don't know when the next time we're going to be in this boat again. But we can't let this boat fly by.
No. This is. If we don't do it now, we never will. Sava, very quickly, you said this is mad. Do you lot understand business? I've got a degree, master's in business, and I run a business.
I don't. I understand football though. I understand football.
I was going to say when Conte was getting top 4 and generating the revenue, you wanted him out. So, which is it? I'm just saying, if it's about business and money, Conte was doing that. Sanilla, big up to you. 1 minute. Let me quick go through this, and you are going to speak first after. Lee, you do this one because I don't want to leave you out. Sanilla 32, big up, brother. He says, we've tasted success. Now we don't know what to do with it. We're all used to being downbeat for 17 years. Old habits are hard to change.
I understand this comment very well. I completely get it.
Do you resonate with this? Do you see where he's coming from? Or do you think, come on, mate?
Me personally, I'll ask.
No, Lee, go. Then
Lee, sorry, go on.
No, I do, and I think this leads back into what I spoke about last week, that I couldn't believe that we already started having arguments as a fan base 2 hours after the parade on Tottenham. We shouldn't be having these conversations at all. We should be. I know it's all for YouTube and it's for clicks and all this kind of stuff, and I get that, but I just want to listen. I think that there's the problem is it's not just about, we've been waiting for this for so long, and now we finally got it. I personally believe, and you can disagree with me, that Ange's taking us under this ownership, Ange's taking us to the peak of where we can possibly be, right? And that's winning a Europa Cup. irrelevant if we win an FA Cup in the next couple of years or a Carabao Cup. I think this is the peak, right? So now the reality with fans is like, I've tasted it, I want more, but where's the more going to come from? Because the ambition of the club. So we've literally gone from the heights of winning the Europa Cup to shit. Where does the next one come from? Where I can't see where it comes from, and that's where one of the main points where I am in terms of where does it come from? What I want more, but where does it come from? And it's the reality that, you know, we've just won something great, fantastic. We all want to love it, but now we want more. Where? When's the next one going to come along? Is it going to be another 5 years, another 10 years? The only peak that we can peak with this is the league or the Champions League. But as we all know, reality is we are way off of either of those, absolutely miles off. So it's almost like we're at a high, and then reality comes in, and we're sinking back down again. It's almost like the oh my god, you know, it's all hitting down, and I just these discussions and that has not helped it. I think we could have revelled in it a bit longer and then enjoyed it a bit longer, but I think for a lot of people, yeah, the misery is setting in. Where does the next one come from? Where does the next one come from?
So Murray, I promise you, I'm gonna set the next subject, and you're gonna go first. All right, I've got one last super chat. Stanilla32 says, "Better confused than in the mud like Woolwich." Absolutely, sod the Woolwich. Right. Yep. I want to come to what Iggy said earlier about power. You know, the club's in a place of power now. I'm going to try and put a positive spin on this, but I know it's going to get crushed pretty quick. I'm probably going to crush it myself. But change for Tottenham has definitely grown last year, and it's had an impact. I think anyone to deny it's had an impact, I think, is dismissing the noise it's made. And they've been very tactical with how they've done it with the media as well. So that, along with news that Paratici is coming back, Donna Cullen stepping down, Vinay taking her role for fan engagement and whatnot. Plus, we were told Fraser Forster, Reguilon, Alfie Whiteman leave the club. Timo Werner no longer going to be with us next season. So, guys, here's a question. We're in a place of power. Are Spurs showing us that they're going to grab this power and do something good with it based on some of the players we've moaned and complained about? Well, they've gone. I'm sure there's more to happen. We don't know what's going to go on the transfers yet, but definitely some deadwood's gone. Change for Tottenham aren't going anywhere. Donna Cullen has left the club. We've brought in this finance guy. Forgot his name. Chapman, is it? Mr. Chapman. Vinay is now the CEO. Charrington, sorry. Thanks for correcting me. He's come in. Vinay is now CEO, and Paratici is rumoured to come back. Do you think the club is manoeuvring to do something that we've not seen before football-wise, or is this all PR? How can we make more money?
Can I go first very quickly?
Murray has to go because I promised him.
All right, okay. I just wanted two things that I've just read. So, Murray, you go ahead.
Murray, do you allow Lee to go first? Murray, do you allow Lee to go first?
Oh, yeah.
I'll be 20 seconds. Hold on. So the change for Tottenham thing, they put out a statement about Donna Cullen. I'm sorry, that's media PR spin. From what I'm reading, what I understand, Donna Cullen was gone last year. But Levy got her to stay for 1 year. She had every intention of leaving anyway. So what Showing for Change have done this year, Change for Tottenham done this year, had no relevance to Donna Cullen leaving today. End of story. Yeah. Secondly, the whole reports about Levy apparently they're all bullshit. They're made up bullshit. He's just not going anywhere.
All right, thank you for this.
Murray, I just want to say, when I mentioned change for Tottenham, I'm talking about the noise they created, putting pressure on the club, because I've heard it from within the club. They really don't like that noise.
Absolutely, and I don't disagree with that. But I'm just saying they put out a statement about almost taking credit for Donna Cullen leaving. That's simply not the case. It might have been, the timelines might have shown up, but she apparently was supposed to leave last year, but she was persuaded to stay on one more year. She had every intention of going this season, at the end of this season anyway. So they didn't do anything in that part. But for the rest of it, absolutely agree. They are making some
change for Tottenham is at the bottom of the list of things I mentioned. More the shuffle at the top. Some players coming up. Go on, you go.
A couple of things. And then I'll end off with Iggy's point. I said nice assist because for me, I gotta see concrete. I'm a concrete thinker. I like to see concrete results. So I gotta see things concrete. I see people being excited, about the rumors that Levy may step down and whatsoever. It seems like it's from someone's WhatsApp. Like, people, calm down. Calm down. We have to see concrete things before we can say that something has happened, right? We know what we would like to happen, but as of now, the only thing we know is Vinay is coming in, possibly Paratici is coming in too, and they have an important decision to make if we want to see change. One of it is going to be an unpopular one, possibly, and it starts with our coach. So it goes back to what everything he says. I agree, but the main question is, do we move on in this power of position? Do we move on and move forward with a coach that most think is tactically inept? Do we do that, or do we bring somebody new in that new springboard? Because now we're going to Champions League, right? New season coming up. There's important decisions that needs to be made. So I know the excitement. Donna Cullen's gone, and like I said, Lee mentioned it. I saw that report that it was already prepared. People are going to continue the protests. It's going to be interesting seeing how the protest goes about after, parades and celebrations. So it's going to be interesting to see. But the change, right, if this club is going to capitalize with power and see that change, they're going to have to make that tough decision. And like I said, do we move on to another coach, or do we stick or twist, or do we stay? Because there's a possibility to move up, progress, or there's a possibility that we may not progress. There's a lot of factors that is in. We talk about finances, the importance of finishing top 4, top 6, right? Well, top 5 to qualify for Champions League. In regards to more money coming in, since we talk about money, the Club World Cup, right? We won the Europa, great start in regards to coefficient. But if we have bad season after season after season after season, right? We may not make it to the one, I think it's in Brazil or Australia in 4 years. And that's over 100 million in profit on the money side. So there's a lot of waiting. I would just say people to just calm down, because there's a lot of legs moving and there's a lot of information that we just do not know, other than we have to make a choice on who's going to manage this club going forward.
Guys, do you think there's a change coming to this club, a positive one football-wise, or do you agree with Mari, or do you think there's something else? Luba, I know you're waiting to speak on this because you probably know a bit or two about this already, but what's your take on it?
Listen, everyone knows how I feel about this chairman. I want a chairman who's going to come in and show commitment to the football side. Proper commitments, have a desire and an intensity and a drive and real ambition to make this club number one. This is a big club. It's still a big club. It's not an elite club. The other 5 clubs that have walked away with all the trophies in the last 20 years, they're elites. The clubs that win it every year in Europe, the PSGs, the Bayern Munichs, the Ajaxes, the Juves, Milans, Barcelona, Real Madrid. These are elite clubs. But we're like a sleeping giant. And you saw the reaction from the fans just for a Europa League. Can you imagine what it would be like if we won the Premier League for the first time since '61? It would just be absolutely unbelievable. And I think last season was a mad season, wasn't it? It was an absolutely crazy season. The league was the worst in history, and we won a European trophy for the first time in 41 years. So it was a real, 1 minute you're up, next minute you're on the floor. It was a bizarre season. And to anybody, I've seen a few of the comments coming through tonight. I loved being there in Bilbao. Thought it was fantastic. We did great to win the trophy. At the end of the day, no matter how you do it, it's about winning it. And when people look back in the history books, they won't think back that Mickey made a first-minute blinding tackle on Ekatike in Frankfurt to stop us going 1-0 down. People would just see Spurs' name on the trophy. So yes, I enjoyed it. But you know what? For one or two comments also, I can be Levy out and Ange out. And I just want new owners. I just have a sneaky feeling. Charrington is...
Lubo, can I just read something that's just come out? I've just been sent this. Daniel Levy apparently is preparing to step down as chairman of Tottenham Hotspur. The decision is part of a major internal restructure at the club. With the long-standing goal of winning silverware now achieved, Levy believes the time is right to hand over the reins. A successor has already been identified, expected to be an internal appointment. The timing remains uncertain. This is what I've just been sent this.
Well, I must tell you something. If we've got
go on.
If we've got Europa League and Levy stepping down, then that's been a bloody good month. And that's been the best month. Month I can remember for a very, very, very long time.
And all night we've been saying this. A position of power. If this is true, what Stones just read out.
Yeah.
Like I said, we are never, ever going to be in this position of power again. We need to maximize it right now. Now's the time to say, if this restructure, which started with Donald Cullen, happens now, I don't know how true it is. I don't know what the source is, if it's reliable or not. But if this is what's happening, it's never been a better time to do it. And and you said something about Bilbao, and that reminded me of the conversation I had with Stel earlier today. Stel said something that stuck to my mind, amongst a lot of other things that we spoke about for an hour on the phone about Spurs, of course. The one thing that stood out for me that he said that Bilbao, he never realised, he knew, but he never realised to actually see it with your eyes. He said, I never realised how big Tottenham was.
Massive.
Now, it's one thing saying it, it's one thing someone else saying it, but when you see it with your own eyes, and the only thing I saw, guys, I wasn't at Bilbao. I saw, what I can tell you is what I saw at White Hart Lane that night, which was a fucking good turnout. All right, really good to watch it on a screen. But what I saw at the parade made me think, fucking hell, man, this club. Like, the fans that turned up on the day was next level. I never realised that. I added to what Stel said, what he saw in Bilbao. I never saw what he saw in Bilbao. I'm waiting for this video doc that is going to release.
The movie.
Yeah, I want to see this movie because I'm hoping to at least see it on the screen.
You're all in it, by the way. You're all in the movie.
The thing is, everyone said to me what they saw in Bilbao, they never realised until they saw it. How it's not just what you see in a stadium, guys. A lot of people went to Spain not having a ticket.
Sure,
it was huge. This club is huge. The numbers are there. The fan base is there.
Iggy, when we went to Wembley for the Champions League the first year, that first game when was it Mbappe sort of walked through us and Monaco beat us. There were over 85,000 in the grounds. Now, not every Premier League club's going to take 85,000 into Wembley. It was just brilliant. The club's massive. I think that was 2016. That was 2016, wasn't it?
We filled up Wembley every
game. And I've got to tell you something. We have watched, seriously, we lost 10 league games, didn't we, out of 19 this season. We have watched the biggest pile of shit I can remember, honestly, since the relegation year. And the fans turn up, you get 61. I think you had one you had one attendance that was marginally under 61,000, that was 60 plus. The fans are so loyal at our fan base. Every single away game goes to loyalty points. You know, it's not, they sell out. Spurs sell out every single ticket. You know, and when he took the piss by charging £81 for me instead of 35 for the Roma game, and I think Frankfurt as well. You know, you look at the crowd. Okay, he lost a bit. I think with Roma, I think they only had 51 or 52, but 57,000. I think for the next one. You know, even at those prices, they're making an absolute mint. There is no excuse now, as you said, Iggy, for this club not to go in that direction. And this is the best possible chance. We've won a trophy for the first time in 17 years, and we're heading into the Champions League. And Levy's got to sort that. They've got to sort the managerial situation out fast, and they've got to start moving in the transfer market quickly, because other clubs have stolen the march on us. Yeah. Now, I understand that until the manager is sorted out, you know, you go to a player's going to say, well, I'm joining a club. Who's your manager next year?
They're not announcing the manager. They're not confirming they're not confirming or whether he's staying or not. Before, not even tomorrow, because tomorrow's a Spurs shirt launch, and they don't want anything to get away with that. This fucking club, man, their priorities. We're talking about whether you confirm a manager or not, and we're saying, well, it's not going to be done tomorrow because we're releasing the shirt. So, and no discussion will be happening until at least Wednesday now or Thursday. I'm like, do you see what I mean about this? Is what gripes me, man. Not who's the next manager or not it's going to be. It's the priorities where they stand.
Completely wrong. I've been banging on about this for years and years and years. You know, you go to Liverpool, you walk around the ground, you see the grounds, and okay, you know, they got involved. I was going up this summer for Billy Joel, but he's cancelled due to illness. You know, so Liverpool getting involved also now with concerts. But Liverpool's not about NFL and advertising, Skywalk and boxing and Beyonce. It's about football. It's a proper football club. I want Tottenham Hotspur Football Club to go back to being a proper football club. Not football being part of an entertainment group. This is a football club. This is a very, very special football club to me. And Levy has hijacked this club. And the sooner he goes, please God, it's this week, next month. Please God, he's gone. Let people come in, and we know they're going to be businessmen. They know they're going to spend billions, so they're going to want a return. I'm not stupid. Look, but let them mix business with success. And just to finish off, to link the two, our biggest profits ever as Tottenham Hotspur Football Club was the year we reached the Champions League final. They made a net profit, I think, of 138 million. So footballing success and financial success correlates. And Levy's it's never sunk in his head. It's never got in his head, because unfortunately he's never seen the big picture. For whatever reason, he's never seen the big picture. So we need new owners with ambition who see the big picture, who will see, you know, the big clubs will get bigger and bigger. There may well be a European Super League in years to come. Who knows? And we've got to be in there at the top table, which means being up there, being successful.
Do you know what? Listen. I couldn't agree more. I don't know how true this Levy rumors are. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if the source is reliable or not. But it's this words going about, and obviously the other one is Mason going to West Bromwich Albion. It looks like he's going to go and manage there. So he's obviously leaving Spurs to go and manage there. So there's obviously going to be a change in the staff if it happens. They've obviously done a Cullen leaving. If Levy look, at some point, whether it's happening now or in the future, there will be changes at the club, including the ownership. There has to be. But like I said, I know. Listen, I keep repeating myself, man. I don't think we're ever going to get a better opportunity than now. We could move in so many different directions right now, and I thought, and think people say, well, you know, how we're going to attract better players if we don't bring the money in the revenue, mate. We've done this before, where we brought money in every year and we didn't spend it, and when we have needed to spend it, we didn't, and when we've been shitted and we've had to spend badly. So everything has to unite with recruitment, with scouting. Everything's got to level up, and then the money that can be spent well, because you have the recruitment, you have the scouting, you have the manager appeal that can bring in the quality players. But also, it's like, who's going to join Spurs if we don't move up the league? Well, who's joined Spurs when we have gone up the league? Because the wage structure needs to go up and to attract the better players, to bring Spurs where you just said now, where you feel they should be. We're sleeping giants. We're always in Arsenal's shadow because we need to come out of that shadow and come at the front. So how are you going to do that if you don't up the wage structure? We don't improve the recruitment, the medical stuff. Everything's got to go up. Then the manager can go up, the price can go up. Then once you start showing the ambition of the club outwardly to everyone, then you will have the appeal. You're going to have the appeal of the pulling power of the players coming. They want to come to your club because it's an exciting place to be at. But until you do all those things together, and it starts from the top all the way down, we would never ever make that step, regardless of who the manager is. So that's what I'm saying. For me, we have to look beyond that and put that into place. And I don't think that's all going to come together under this regime. That's it.
Let's be realistic, right? And let's not put blinkers on to think that the management, the guys at the top don't already know what's happening, right? So talking to players, they're already going to know. They're already going to tell them what's happening in the coming days. From what I can see, the Levy news is fake. But to Stell's point, I believe there is change coming, right? I believe that there may be. I think the best scenario that we can hope for is that Levy takes a step back from the footballing side and just, sticks to the entertainment side or the commercial side of the business, and that Vinny is the one that takes over the footballing side, and the whole Paratici thing is all still up in the air as to whether he's coming back or not. It's not set in stone yet, so we can only hope. I mean, I don't think Levy will be leaving, unfortunately, but all we can hope, which we've been hoping all along. I've got no issue with Daniel Levy being at the club. I just don't want him involved in the footballing side. Leave that. You stick to what you're good at, the commercial side and making revenue. Leave the footballing decisions to the footballing minds, and I could quite happily accept that. He doesn't have to go. Obviously, best case scenario that he does, but I just don't see how a club that makes money, anyone would walk away from that. Especially since while it's making money, it's making his shares more profitable. But there we go.
If he, a perfect example, I've said this a couple times before. Just look at De Laurentiis of Napoli. He stepped away, he moved his hands off the football operation of the club, and they just won Serie A again, 2 in the last 3 years. Very controlling figure, hated by the ultras, and then he finally gave the reins to, the sporting director who's now at Juventus. Last season, he kind of got back involved, but then backed off again. Let Conte do his thing, and they won their second Serie A. And so that's our only hope in regards to Daniel Levy, in the sense with, Vinay coming in, Paratici coming in, is letting them have that power in running the football operations of the club and him backing out.
But you know what, Mari? Napoli won the league, but Conte was going to leave. You know that, right?
Yeah.
He was going to leave, but he was given assurances that big investment and the level of the wage structure and the level of the players coming in will be going up because they got Champions League next season. Yep. They got Serie A. They got the expectations of the fans have gone up. The excitement of winning the league has given them a hunger to go at it again. So Conte wanted assurances that he will get those things to really go up a level next year. This is what we're talking about, guys. There will be I will go on. Do you know what? I'll keep drumming this. Level up every stream I'm beyond. I'll be talking about it because that's what you do. Once you've done that, and the expectations is going to be there from everybody. Everyone's had a little taste. The expectation, for me at least, it's going to be we've got to level up, and the assurances have to be there for that. Any manager like Napoli or anywhere else, they have to do that. It's going to happen at Milan this summer. I'm watching them very carefully. There's no way they accept ninth in the league. There's no way except not challenging for top four or bringing a trophy home. Guess what they're going to do this summer? They have to level up. Players that want to get rid of that, players that are not hungry anymore for next season, they're getting rid of. Yeah. And they're going to bring players in that are hungry, that want to level up and go up. So the ambition of the club has to be there. Will it be there at Milan? Will it be Napoli? It looks like the president is gonna step up and please his manager because he's confirmed him. So by confirming him, he has to honour what the agreements between the two have. This is the same thing that has to happen at Spurs, man. If we want to go up, we have to put things in place. Will we see it? I don't know. Will a manager change happen? Maybe. Will it change anything? I don't think it will. In terms of where I would like to see Spurs to be at. I don't have any rights to see Spurs at that level, win a trophy every year or that. But can I see at least put things in place to strive for it? Yes. You strive for things, man. Then at the end of the season, you conclude and say, what went right, what went wrong? How can we do better next year? In any line of work, that's how you program everything. Why can't we do the same thing at Spurs and combine the lot together? Success is on and off the pitch. Off the pitch, we see it a lot. But I just want to be a little bit reflect. I want to see the same energy. And like Stell's shirt says, just do it, man. Just do it. Just do it. Man. It needs to be done. It needs to be done. It needs to be done now. Not next year. Not in 6 months. It needs to be done now. All the decision making, all the big decisions need to be made now, and do them for the best. And again, we do it because we want to level up, and you know what? Fucking level up is going to be something you're going to be hearing.
We have this chat at the end of every season. Yeah. But you're
going to be sick of me saying it, but I'll keep drumming it because everyone needs to look at things in the bigger picture, not just looking at it here. We need to look at it. The periphery needs to be a lot wider and a lot higher for this club.
You mentioned my T-shirt. You just reminded me of something, by the way. Before I forget, JP has asked me to let you guys know because he puts a lot of work into it. I've pinned a link to the top of the chat. There it is at the bottom. This is our merch store. JP's designed some Europa-winning merch. If you're interested, people, you've got the we'll be running around the Woolwich. Our European Cup T-shirt. He's got 17th. I don't know how. We won it in Bilbao. Waka waka. And he's also got. I've got to remove the banner from the screen. We won it in Balboa. The Rocky Bilbao T-shirt. So look, guys. Listen, if that's your thing, you fancy buying any of it, JP's got a little store that he set up for us. There's the links at the top of the chat as well. Also, looking at the chat, just to let you know. I've been running a poll on Ange or Frank. We've had more votes than we've had people viewing the show, which means this has been the biggest poll we've ever ran. We've had so far almost 600 votes. 43% say Ange, 57 Frank. So it's not a given. It's not a given at all. So he was split on that one as well. Quick question to you guys. Do you think... We're going to wrap it up soon, by the way, because we've been going for 2 hours and 20 already. There's a documentary coming out soon. Tottenham Hotspur put a documentary together, The Road to Bilbao, and it's almost like the Amazon All or Nothing documentary.
Where is that?
Do you guys think...
Is it Netflix or Amazon?
No, it's Tottenham. Tottenham are putting it out. Tottenham Hotspur.
On what?
I think YouTube. I think YouTube. Yeah, because the
And Spurs
promotions on YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah, it'll be on Spurs Play. Yeah, in fact, they'll probably charge us. You're right. It'll probably be on Spurs Play, 10 quid, whatever.
Classic.
Let's see. Do you think this documentary will give us a real insight into what really went on and the connection between manager, players, coaches, Levy, or do you think it's just going to be a propaganda?
I think it'll be
Absolutely.
It's going to be insightful.
They're gonna give you what they want you to see. It's always
because the Amazon documentary. To be fair, we did get some insights. We did get to a feel for some stuff, didn't we?
It was a bit.
But that was Amazon.
It was a bit low grade.
Yeah, but Spurs had to sign off on it. Huh?
That is true.
That's right. Spurs had to sign off. You know, about probably the most controversial was Danny Rose with Mourinho, probably.
What about the punch up with Son, Lloris in the dressing room?
You know what I'll be interested to see, and I don't know, I haven't seen. It would be the contrast of how we were between League and Europa, because it's completely. I mean, it was very parallel, but two completely different journeys, and it'd be interesting to see the contrast between, you know, Thursday nights and weekends, and that is what I mean. How that was managed by the players, by the management. I mean, I don't know what we're going to see, but I hope to see an insight of that. And look, who knows, man? We can come back on next week, and people will have a different take upon seeing the what they've seen, and maybe we'll have a better understanding of what actually happened within the camp.
Do you think I'll get apologies? Do you think I'll get a lot of apologies next week?
No, because
you're taking it too far, man. You're taking it too far. But if nothing else, it'll give us a better understanding of how things happen, you know, within the camp. So that is what I'm looking forward to seeing. I don't change my mind about what I've said tonight, but I will enjoy seeing the insightfulness and knowing where the journey ends, like of that season, and just to see how it was at the beginning and just go through that again. I would like to see how they dealt with that.
I don't think it'll give you anything other than what they want you to hear. It won't give you insight into what Sonny and Maddison were talking about when you see him on the bench every 5 minutes because he keeps getting dragged off after 60 minutes and you won't see anything like that. I doubt the league will even be mentioned. It will be a one-sided, opinionated from Tottenham's perspective and exactly what they want you to see, and that's it. Yeah. But I'll still watch it just for the fun. Just for the crack.
I look forward to it. I'm sure we'll be talking about it at some point once we've seen it or everybody's seen it.
Just a couple of super chats that I've not quite gone through. There's one here from Terry O'Shea. Big up, Terry. That's fake ITK tweeting you still. That's just Donna's parting gift to fans, spreading a rumor, and then she pisses off talking about the leaving out noise. A user says, "What's the score with Paratici pulling any strings?" Guys, can I ask you something quickly about Paratici? I was thinking about this today.
Is he not serving a ban still to the end of the month?
I don't know.
First, he's lifted.
Let me ask you a question. If he does come back and he's put in charge again, do we honestly trust him to make any managerial appointments? He brought in Nuno. It was a disaster for this club. Forget what Nuno did elsewhere. It didn't work here. He then brought in Conte, which was either you love him, hate him, but it was the biggest divide of the lot. Do you guys trust Paratici to bring in a manager that works at this club? Because his track record is pretty bad.
We got Nuno after about 8 or 9 rejections, didn't we?
Yeah, but that's Paratici's choice. He brought him in.
No, but you know, everybody was turning us down, weren't they?
Yeah.
I hear you. Paratici was in charge. Do you trust him?
And the other thing, just to talk about Nuno, is that Spurs were the only club that he didn't have his team around him, that he wasn't allowed to bring his coaching team with. He did at Wolves, he did at Forest, but he wasn't allowed here. I think he went abroad as well, didn't he? I think he took his team with him there as well. So you know there are circumstances. Same as Nagelsmann. Nagelsmann wanted a complete player, and everybody.
Paratici wanted Conte. Paratici wanted Conte. He got him in.
Yeah, and I honestly think that but do you not think still it's to bring a winner in like Conte, who wins everywhere else? For me, even if it was going to be short term, you're bringing in somebody that's going to bring a winning mentality, because that mentality is not coming down from the top. So isn't it good that a manager can bring it to the first team?
But that's why I said, do you trust Paratici to bring in a manager that works at Tottenham?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I haven't got a choice still. If
Do you guys trust Paratici?
My question is,
we need a sporting director.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Do
the
you trust him to hire the next manager? Because his track record, in terms of what they've done at Tottenham, has been pretty bad.
Yeah, but I got a question for you.
Who's done better?
I don't know the answer, by the way.
I know they have all the Frank rumors, and I hope they will talk to other candidates. But because we have, I use this as an example, your Doji, and we got Poro, and when those guys were signed, Paratici was still involved. Do you think he might bring in a manager that might implement the win backs? Do you think?
That's a hard one to. For me, we don't know. We can't answer the question right because we don't know what reins were put around Paratici the first time he's here, right? And we don't know the conversation about. We don't even know if he's coming back or not. It's still not set in stone. But we don't know that.
Lee, can I just add to what you said quickly, because we've got a super chat on it, and then you carry on. Terry says Paratici is currently going through another civil case as we speak in Turin that started 2 weeks ago. Search it up. Keep up to date, people. So he's letting us know that we're behind.
Yeah, Terry, thanks for that. We know that there's a case ongoing, but the case doesn't affect the ban that's being lifted on the 1st of July. So I assume that they're still going to wait around, but it doesn't mean he's going to get banned from working again in England or something. So we don't know, and that's going to be a big caveat to it all, right? As to whether he comes back or not, I assume, or what the outcome of that could be, and whether that affects him coming back to Tottenham. We just don't know that part of it, but we know that's out there. It doesn't take away from the fact that his ban is lifted, but we don't know that if it does happen, that the conversation hasn't been. There hasn't been conversations around where there's going to be change. Vinny's going to come in and make changes. You're going to have more say than you had before, because we don't know what relevance to bringing in these managers he had. He might have. We just simply don't know. We weren't part of the conversations. But you would hope it's a positive step. And to be fair, I don't. We all think that Paratici's pulling the strings behind the scenes, but this is. Again, and I've said this before, if Ange is to stay, I don't think Ange is at the level of what Paratici would expect, irrelevant of the cup or something. And I put Frank in the same bucket as that as well. I don't think Frank is at the level of what type of manager Paratici would want to bring in. Again, unless he's got a noose around his neck and he's being told by the board, you've got to do this or you've got to do that. And what's the point of taking the job if you're not going to be given free rein to do what you think is right? There's no point, and I don't think he'd accept that. So I think this will all come out in the wash in the next month or so. But this is why I'm not 100% on Frank in the first place, because if we are telling reports are true about Paratici, I don't think that's the level that he would go for. But I don't know. The uncertainty of not knowing about everything that we're hearing about Tottenham right now, players, coaches, directors, blah, blah, that's the most frustrating thing, right? There's no transparency at all.
No, there never has been, Lee. Tottenham Till I Die Forever, 1022, should have said, we give Levy a pass, been brainwashed into believing we can't fight for the highest of honours. He is 100% correct. This is a big club with financial muscle. And when you look at all the clubs all over Europe, the ones that win the trophies are normally the ones who are within the group that are financially strongest in that country, and we should be as well, which is why, with the money we've had, with the most profitable Premier League club since the inception of the Premier League in 92-93, we made more money profit wise than any other club, yet we've won 3 trophies since then. through the 99 League Cup. It's just dreadful.
To make you a bit happier still. I don't know. Well, it might do, it might not.
I'm happy. I'm happy. Remember that.
But
I'm getting
like a nice little tidbit. I know you were saying Glasner's not leaving Crystal Palace, but I've just read another report that apparently saying that the decision on Glasner has not been made. He's waiting to see whether he's going to get backed by Crystal Palace in terms of player acquisitions and stuff before he makes a decision. So that's still on the table. If I was
Glasner, I'd stay at Palace and see if he can win the Europa Cup, because he did it with Frankfurt. I think he might.
There's breaking news of that they may not be able to play in the UEFA Europa League because of the ownership with Lyon, and there's strong links that they may have to be kicked out of the Europa League.
Could you imagine that?
Yeah.
Surely they knew that before they entered the competition.
Yeah, they didn't know until they won the FA Cup they were going to be in it, did they?
You would think, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Didn't know that they were going to win it until the final whistle was blown.
Well, look, one last thing to talk about, then it's all over for the night, people. It's all right. By the way, Sniller, thank you for your super chat. He says, we will all be watching the documentary thinking that Woolwich won nothing. Absolutely. Last topic of the night, and it's a nice and easy one. Guys, does it really matter who the manager is next season when we play PSG in the Super Cup? I mean, you could put Pep in charge, we're fucked, right? Does any of you think by changing manager, we've got a hope in hell, assuming PSG put their best team out and they go for it? Because I think we're going to get battered no matter who the manager is of Tottenham Hotspur. Unless we defend Mourinho style.
I think we need to bolster the squad and get better players in just to lighten the battering. Maybe make it a 3-0 instead of a 6-0 or something like that. If you bring in like Eze or Polini or Sane, might make it soften it a bit. But they were just on a completely different level the other night. And if they can do that to Inter Milan, then if they put out their squad, the sky's the limit for them, right? Let's be honest.
PSG knocked out Aston Villa, Manchester City, Liverpool, Arsenal, 2 legs. They outplayed all those teams. The scoreline should have been much more horrendous. And
but didn't Arsenal have better XG though? Didn't Arsenal have better XG?
Yeah.
That's what
they
matters.
They won the XG trophy. That final. I've never seen a one-sided final of 2 elite teams in the highest competition where one team, they wiped the floor clean with Inter, man. It could have been more, guys. It could have been 7 or 8.
And
wasn't it something stupid like the average age of the team was something like 24 or something like that, or 25?
Yeah, the one them in Barcelona were the youngest.
Wow, they just bought all of the talent, right? That's how you buy kids.
Two quick things. Number one, do you guys know what they do at the beginning of the kickoff? They actually kicked it out of bounds so they could get their press ready, and they kept it on Inter's half. Basically, the whole first half. That's how confident they are about their press. And then number two, I have to say this. Stell posted on the YouTube page the video of him and the Jackson 5, right? But there's a comment. Big up to Miro Vigan. He put a post. He says, by the way, I heard Spurs are in talks with Pornhub to stream the Super Cup as the views to see 11 men get fucked by PSG. a money spinner.
Do you know that Super Cup? The fact that we get to play, the opportunities to get play such matches, right, against the best team in Europe, okay, in Champions League. This is the whole point of the conversation that we've had all evening, isn't it? We're saying that we need to like put things in place and start acting like a big club, and a big club should thrive on playing the best teams, whether it's PSG or anyone. the fact that we're saying, "Oh, we're going to get absolutely annihilated." Listen, PSG are a great side. There's no two ways about it. For the reason you said, the teams that they beat and how that brilliant they were in the final, great. But that I'm not saying that we're going to be at PSG level, but this is where we need to better our teams and say, look, this is what we should be striving on between now and when we play that match in August in preparations for the new season. We should go and prepare this team now to better it and to say, do you know what? Let's go and play this match. It's an opportunity to put another trophy in the cabinet. And why not, man? It's 50 feet. At the end of the day, man, a final in my eyes is always a final. And of course, we go there as underdogs, massively underdogs. But do you know what? It's an opportunity to do that. And I want to see us now make moves like we are a club that's coming out of the of the shadows, if you like, or the sleeping giants, as Ian said earlier, and start moving like a big team. And this is now the time to do it. And we should be playing. I'm not saying you're going to get the opportunity to play the European Super Cup every year. Of course, you have to win a trophy, like a European trophy, to do that. But man, if you don't sense the opportunity that we have as a club right now, like Stel said, if it ain't happening now, it'll never happen. Don't sense that opportunity and act on the opportunity given to you that we have right now. I say it again, man, for the upteam time, we will never get another opportunity like we get right now to do something. Because if we act like something is changing and it's changing for the better, and we want to move upwards, onwards and upwards, then we have to start acting like it on and off the pitch. Otherwise, be fearful of that game instead of actually looking forward to that game as an opportunity to put another trophy in the cabinet. And you know what? One thing anyone can be got at on the day. Anybody in a one-off match, and even as much of the level difference between PSG Spurs is right now, on the final and on the day, anyone can be got at.
Question for you, Iggy. If and I'm saying a big if, we were to beat PSG and win the Super Cup, do you think that's a better achievement than winning the Europa League? Just because we beat PSG, the champions of Europe.
Being the champions.
It depends how we do it, Lee. If we put 11 men behind the ball and we have 1% possession and we nick a goal,
That's what we did for the Europa. That's what we did Europa Cup.
But
you know what I mean?
Here's one thing that people
there would be fans out there that would big that up more than actually winning that other competition. I can tell you now. That would be hilarious. Another parade.
This might be to our advantage.
Shameless.
PSG, like Real Madrid and like the favorites, Bayern, that Club World Cup, they want to be the first club to win that. The final is in mid-July. Their players are not going to have that proper summer rest. That's the only thing. If PSG, and I did my bracket prediction, they should be able to play Real Madrid in the final. If they get to the final, they may come in not totally knackered, but definitely not a full preseason because the Club World Cup ends July 14th. If I'm correct, it ends at July 14th, and then the players have to have a vacation. I'm talking about the star players. They have to have time off before they come into preseason. I'm just
the final, Mari, man. It's just different when you put a trophy on the line in a one-off match. Everyone just raises the level, and all I'm saying is that we need.
I'm just saying it might be a little factor, not major factor.
I don't believe this is what and listen. We just before people saying. I can see people in the chat saying we've got no bloody chance or anything like that. That's not going to happen. Look, at the end of the day, we're just talking here. It's just talking. In a one-off match, I don't ever see Here's the thing: we saw PSG beat Inter Milan 5-0. I don't think the same sort of matches repeat itself in finals again. I don't think just because they beat them 5-0, we gonna now lose 10-0. I don't believe in any of that. For me, it's how you have to go in those situations, knowing fully well the capabilities of your team, capabilities of the opposition teams, and you're trying to counteract any movements that you do, and in the hope that it comes off on the day. And you get the fortunes also on your side. You need a little bit of luck. There's no two ways about that. So every match has its own story. One match, just because one happened in one match, that means it's going to happen in your match. Every match has a story. But for me, the things that we can put in place between now and that game can determine massively how we go into that final. If we go there weaker and in the place where we're the same old sort of attitude, then you're probably going to get one. If you go in there thinking, fucking hell, we've got this player, we've got this manager, we're making moves in a way where you go into that match, things feel like they're on the rise. You go there with a different atmosphere. The turnout for those games, you know that Spurs fans are going to turn up for that game. And I think we'll probably have more fans than they would in that stadium, in my opinion. It's not a huge stadium, it's not. But we can max it out more than they would. So the feel of the place can be differently depending on what's happening in our clubs between now and then. That's all I'm saying. Then, of course, if you want to talk about...
Their fans are loud, Iggy. They've got very, very loud fans, that lot.
Are they ultras?
Yeah. Listen, I'm not saying that they won. I'm just saying that we're loud too. All I'm trying to say is I'm not worried about matching, having our fans not matching them in the stand. I'm not worried about that. All I'm saying is that things can be happening between now and then that kind of set the mood for that game. Then if you want to put it on a technical ability, manager ability, of course their level completely different to ours. And 9 times out of 10 they're winning that trophy. But on the day, anyone can be got at. That's what I'm saying.
Super chat from a user who says, "Give them the cup now, save us the pain." LOL. Ange Ball Sunila says, "Imagine if PSG let us win just to cook the Woolwich." I mean, that would be... By the way, I have to say, PSG fans are incredible for what they did at the end of the game. I don't know if anyone saw it, but this is Luis Enrique's daughter. Yeah, so his daughter, age 9, when he was Barcelona manager, she was waving the Barcelona flag. She tragically passed away from cancer at 9, which is just shocking. The PSG fans took that image and they put a PSG kit with the flag as a tribute to Enrique. I thought that was a phenomenal touch. That was.
Do you know why? It was the anniversary of her death that same day.
Oh, really? Is that what it was?
I think it was the anniversary of his daughter's death on that day. So it's just weird how things kind of line up. If I could be mistaken, but I think that was the reason why the fans wanted to tribute something to the manager. I don't know if winning or losing would have altered whether that tifo came out or not, but obviously everything.
But the thought was special. You know, that's
it was unbelievable. How he kept it together, I'll never know. You know that I'll never know. Even upon seeing
that was.
He's won the treble twice. I mean, Luis Enrique, man, you gotta.
Man.
People usually don't mention him as one of the best coaches out there, but Luis Enrique, man, he has to get
Roma chased him. Roma chased him out of town. Roma chased him out of town when he left there. And you see what happens. Sometimes it just don't happen for you at a club.
This is why we can't chase Ange out, Iggy. We can't chase him out. I'm joking.
Luis Enrique is level. How he's managed to change things around PSG, and the fact that he's gone in there. There's that video of him and Mbappe chatting about what he wants, and he's shipped him out. Messi went, all these big stars went. He's kept Marquinhos and Donnarumma as his experienced players. He's got a whole lot of the young players, and the level of those young players are next.
I'll tell you what, Neves and Vinta in the middle were just different.
Vitinha,
mate, what a player!
And Jed Spence said about that winger that he's like Ndoye, whatever his name is, on the right hand side.
Wait,
he mentioned when he played in that Rennes. He said, he goes, I told everyone about that baller.
And Kvaratskhelia, Mourinho wanted him. We didn't want to pay £10 million because he was Georgian.
No, Conte
didn't want Enrique.
15 million. 15 million.
Who said that, by the way?
Then got rid of him at Napoli, didn't he?
Our fans didn't want Enrique a couple of years ago when we linked to him.
He won the league, though, yeah.
Yeah, we wanted Nagelsmann, and Enrique was.
Enrique.
Yeah, no, Enrique came to Spurs, didn't interview allegedly, as I was told. Didn't interview well. I don't know how true that is. That's what I was told.
Yeah, he told them how to win, and we shut ourselves. Like, no, we're not doing this again. I tell you what, though, I was saying it to all you guys in the chats that PSG would win this. But when I saw PSG play Liverpool over 2 legs, and I know it went to penalties in the end. When I saw what PSG did to Liverpool, I couldn't believe it. Nobody done that to Liverpool, and they did it twice. Yeah. They should have battered Liverpool 5-6-0. And I said to myself, this is the best team in Europe. I'm not surprised they beat Arsenal. I'm not surprised they won the final. I didn't think they'd beat Inter 5-0, but I knew they'd beat them. That Liverpool game, they came alive. It's just like everything clicked. And from there on,
they've got a great players.
Excellent point.
They've got great players, great goalkeeper. I think even having him.
Iggy, you're right, but their manager's different gravy, you know.
Yeah,
Enrique's different gravy.
How those forwards interchange constantly.
The football they play.
That's why coaching's so important. I know he was in the chat. Sava, he was talking about coaching is so important because Vitinha at Wolves is not the Vitinha at PSG. That's why it's so important that we get good coaching, especially for the young kids. You know, even Archie Gray, if he gets a proper coach who could cultivate his talent.
We can't talk about Archie Gray and Vitinha in the same sentence. Mari, where you
No, I'm not saying that.
Nubo's eyes just went.
I know. We almost got to the end of the show, man.
Yeah, you had to, didn't you? Well done, Mari. Well done.
You get the point. Proper coaching of the
Nubo's undone a few buttons. He's like.
Do you know it's not just about the coaching as well, Mari? It's about having other players at your level around you as well. You can all bounce off of.
I agree. It both works. You have someone you can look up to.
There isn't a weak link in that chain at PSG, in that team that I was watching the other night. Jesus.
Yeah. It's the constant rotation of players. The respect, it's unreal.
Mate, if they sign, because even their fullbacks are brilliant as well. If they sign...
all that.
I was going to say, Iggy, if they sign 2 top draw centre backs, they're winning it next season as well. And maybe I was going to say an out and out striker, but they got rid of Mbappe and they did better. So maybe they don't need a striker. Maybe
they rotate those 3 and forward. They don't give any referring, but that's why they don't play with the number 9. Dembele, that guy, and Kvaratskhelia, they're constantly turning. And it's really hard to nullify it as a and they struggled. Inter struggled. Listen, Inter's an aging team, very very heavy in their legs. They couldn't deal with it.
Inter got back
as well. Do you know what I noticed in that game as well? Just to pad your point out as well. I think at one point, and this goes into the whole getting into the mindset of working as a team and covering each other. Is that I think at one point you could see Hakimi was playing in centre forward and Dembele was actually covering his spot at right back. And then when the play was broken up, then they switched back. But you could see it. There's 3 or 4 times where Hakimi was playing up front. He's supposed to be the right back. It was so nice to watch. You're thinking, what's he doing up there? But then you saw someone was covering. It's just like that team is so well drilled and so on the same level.
That conversation that we see between Enrique and Mbappe, where he's talking about Michael Jordan and blah, blah, blah. Mbappe never bought into it, which is why he got shipped out. I know in the end he had to leave because of a contract and all of that money and all that. But that's what Dembele has bought into it. That Dembele has left Barcelona as a failure. He's gone to PSG and has won the Champions League because he bought into what Enrique tried to do, where other players that Enrique shipped out, like Mbappe and those guys, world superstars, didn't buy into it. They didn't want to do it. So it just goes to show that you, the individual player, the standout player, the elite player, the one that makes a difference. If he doesn't put it at the service of the team will never succeed. If you put your needs ahead of the team, that you will be a great player. You'll probably go on to win a lot of things, but in terms of team, you have to put it at the disposal of the team. Otherwise, football's a team game, man. The individuals win you the matches. They won't win you the leagues. They won't win you the tournaments if they don't put it at the service of the team.
Yeah, basically. Boys and girls, it's been 3 hours. It's been epic. Yeah. Lubo told us all off live on show, which was amazing. And then Iggy told us off as well. That's the highlight of tonight's show.
Yes.
Henry Fong, Alan Sibley, William, Sibley again, Sanilla. Who else we got here? Phil Coys, a user, Sava Football Heritage. Make sure you subscribe to Sava's channel. Sanilla, twice. Terry, a user. Sanilla
Big
again.
up, guys. Thank you very much.
A user, Sanilla again. And finally, right at the end, Chris Green became a channel member. Big up to you. Thank you so much, everyone.
Just got one more. Sanilla.
Sanilla at the end. Big up again. Thanks, guys, for a great and lively debate. Sanilla, this is an echo chamber. Apparently, this is an echo chamber.
Yeah.
Nah. Tonight is anything but echo chamber, I tell you.
We're missing JPM ass.
Make sure you go to the store and get your Europa Cup winning Tottenham away JP designed merch. It's linked to the top of the chat as well. We'll be back. Maury, you doing a show this week?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'll let you guys know. If not this week, definitely next week. Be a transfer special, but I'm definitely dependent after this week. We'll
Depending
see.
whether your Colombian side bit will let you out. That's what it is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Got him.
Tonight, man. There's no one in the chat. No gooners in the chat tonight.
No, they've all gone quiet. Next year, Iggy. Next year.
Netflix. Just to let everyone know, at the moment, because the season's over, we're not going to be doing shows regular. So we'll do Mondays. Every Monday we will be here and we'll be talking the week's news. If anything does pop up, for example, the manager's sacked or I believe he's we'll do a show that day or the day after. Otherwise, guys, it's once a week. All the transfer stuff, Iggy will keep you updated with as it comes and goes. It is that quiet time of year, so we do slow it down a bit. But before you know it, it'll be pre-season and it will all ramp up again and transfers will be coming in and out thick and fast, we hope. So keep locked in, locked on, but we won't be going live every day. Other than that, look after yourselves. Thank you as always. Smash like, subscribe, hit notification bell. Come on, you Spurs. Until next week, take care. Bye-bye.
Come on, you Spurs.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.